Hermione, travel through time to Marvel to be the savior. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 626. The Final Battle of the Avengers. The common hatred and the common enemy have never been so united. Loki has angered everyone. However, Loki himself feels good about himself because the scientists he controls with the Mind Scepter have been able to perfectly release the full power of the Cosmic Cube. Using a special metal, the Cosmic Cube is heated to a high enough temperature. When ordinary metals reach this melting point, they will have long since turned into molten iron. The Cosmic Cube can just release its original power. Loki is a show-off. He never knows what it means to be Loki when doing things. He always does things in a high-profile way. This time is no exception. He plans to activate the Cosmic Cube to open a huge space-time channel, and use this channel to connect the aliens who invaded the Earth. The Chitauri are well-equipped, like a combination of technology and monsters. However, they obviously have the wrong technology tree and have not developed large-scale destructive weapons, such as nuclear warheads, hydrogen warheads, etc., but are more advanced than the Earthlings in single-soldier combat. Loki doesn't know if he has investigated the Earthlings' nuclear bomb reserves in advance, which are enough to raise the entire Earth to the ground. Or did he calculate that the people on Earth would not dare to start a nuclear war? In short, Loki decided to open a huge space-time channel on the top of the Stark Industries headquarters building, releasing a large number of alien Chitauri to invade the Earth. Everything is ready, only the East Wind is missing. While the Avengers were discussing Loki's next move with Nick Fury, the commander of S.H.I.E.L.D., the dialogue box in front of Ms. Hermione popped up again, and she chose to declare war on Loki immediately among three choices. The battle to defend the super spaceship was not satisfying. Let the final battle of the Avengers come soon. So, Hermione began to remind everyone, Loki stole the Cosmic Cube, probably to use the power of the Cosmic Cube to open a space-time wormhole and let the cruel aliens invade the Earth. Based on our current understanding of Loki, he will most likely choose a place where the whole world knows him. The most suitable place to open the wormhole is right above the Stark Industries headquarters building. Hermione was like a cheat, telling everyone present a series of important information. Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Black Widow, Hulk, Hawkeye, Commander Nick Fury, and S.H.I.E.L.D. Level 9 Agent Maria Hill all looked over. They were very surprised, but for a moment, they couldn't find any words to refute, until Iron Man took the lead and said, I think Hermione is right. Let's act quickly. Hulk and Thor immediately echoed, yes, we think so too. Only S.H.I.E.L.D. Commander Nick Fury, S.H.I.E.L.D. Level 9 Agent Maria Hill, Black Widow and Hawkeye looked at everyone strangely. Even at this moment, they felt that if this was Agent Hermione wearing a mask and said that a deer is a horse, then Iron Man, Hulk, and Thor would completely agree. Don't be in the daze. S.H.I.E.L.D. will also send people to the Stark Industries headquarters building to have a final showdown with Loki this time. Captain America also began to reorganize and prepare without hesitation. Although Commander Nick Fury wanted to ask how Hermione deduced this important information, everyone seemed to agree with Agent Hermione's statement, and Commander Nick Fury felt that there was no need to do anything more. Action. The huge super spaceship began to head towards the Stark Industries headquarters building. At the same time, Nick Fury was safe and asked the agents arranged near the Stark Industries headquarters building to send the surveillance video over there. When he really saw Loki deploying on the roof, Commander Nick Fury of S.H.I.E.L.D. was completely stunned. Is this Hermione a god? How did she guess so accurately? Looking back, whether Agent Hermione was shooting or flying a fighter, her level was beyond that of ordinary soldiers. The most important thing was that she had basically never been injured. Moreover, the members of the Avengers seemed to tacitly listen to any of her opinions, as if Agent Hermione was the real leader of the Avengers. Loki didn't expect the Avengers to come so quickly. How did these people find him? In order to delay time, He stood directly at the most iconic place in the Stark Industries headquarters building. This place belongs to Iron Man, and his new energy project is being tested in this building. Iron Man has a battle armor, so he can fly over first. He can see that Loki seems to want to negotiate with him. At the same time, Thor, who can fly, decided to split his forces into two groups. While Iron Man was holding Loki back, he flew to the top of the building and destroyed the cosmic cube that had not yet successfully activated the space-time channel. As long as Loki cannot open the wormhole and cannot allow a large number of aliens to invade the Earth through the wormhole, the scale of this battle can be reduced many times. Thor's idea was good, but it went against his wishes. The cosmic cube on the roof had been successfully activated, forming a protective shield around it. Even Thor could not forcibly break this shield. However, Thor was not a person who would easily give up. He raised Thor's hammer high, and at that moment the whole sky began to be covered with dark clouds, and the terrifying power of thunder gathered and rushed towards Thor frantically. Thor intended to use this lightning to break the shield of the cosmic cube. However, he still failed. The essence of the cosmic cube is the strongest infinity stone in the Marvel Universe, and the infinity stone represents the law and order. No matter how strong Thor is, his personal strength cannot be stronger than the law and order. Loki looked at Thor struggling in vain, and his heart was full of ridicule. From the beginning of opening the cosmic cube, this process could not be stopped. Even Loki himself could not do it. This is the true power of the activated cosmic cube. If it is not a ceiling-level treasure, how could it attract so many powerful people to be obsessed with fighting for it? In the original play, Iron Man's armor was damaged on the super spaceship, so he returned to the Stark Industrial Headquarters building to change a new one. At the same time, he took off his armor, hoping to show Loki his sincerity in negotiation. Iron Man is a businessman. Businessmen put interests first. All major events in the world can be negotiated as long as the interests are in place. If Loki can withdraw his troops through negotiation, then for countless ordinary people, this is the only way to ensure their safety. If the alien army successfully invades, then the city where Iron Man was born and raised will surely be devastated by war. The death toll from the war will certainly be countless. But Iron Man here is not taking such a risk. What if Loki gets crazy and doesn't give Iron Man a chance to negotiate? Once he raises his scepter and fires a beam, Iron Man will really die on the spot. So, Iron Man here, when he flies down, at most he will take off his mask. As for the armor on him, because Hermione was flying a fighter plane during the battle to defend the spaceship, Iron Man's armor here was not damaged. Unless he fights the Hulk and Thor, his Iron Man armor will not be damaged too seriously in ordinary battles. Chapter 627, Hermione takes action to reverse the situation. To show his sincerity, Iron Man personally poured 2 glasses of high-end red wine and handed one to Loki. However, Loki sneered and did not take it. "I think we can solve it peacefully. Loki, you take the cosmic cube and leave the Earth, and we will not pursue it." Loki has his own plan. Hawkeye was rescued by SHIELD and could no longer be controlled by Loki and work for him. This Iron Man also seems to have good fighting power. Loki plans to get close to Iron Man and directly control Iron Man with the Mind Scepter in his hand. Loki's plan is perfect, but when he knocked one end of the Mind Scepter on Iron Man's armor, there was a sound of 2 metals colliding. However, Iron Man did not react at all. Bang! Loki tried again. Iron Man hadn't noticed what Loki was doing yet. He continued to negotiate, saying, "Loki, you have offended all of us in the Avengers. It's not too late for you to stop now, otherwise, you will end up in a miserable situation." Seeing that he couldn't control Iron Man with the Mind Scepter, Loki stopped talking nonsense and directly launched an attack, saying, "I don't think so." If he couldn't rule Asgard, then Loki planned to settle for ruling the Earth as the next best thing. In short, Loki must be the overlord. Boom. Loki's attack was also within Iron Man's expectations. He used the Iron Man armor to defend himself, but Loki's attack was mixed with the power of the Mind Gem. Although the Mind Gem is an auxiliary gem, not an offensive force, combined with Loki's own magic power, The two are not to be underestimated. Iron Man was directly knocked away, smashing the French window glass and falling to the ground. Iron Man immediately controlled the flight and began to fight back. Crackling, countless glass was broken, and Loki could only dodge. Loki is not a tank, and he has no way to resist. It's time to change the decoration again. Iron Man didn't feel bad about destroying his own building. At this time, Thor couldn't break the defense of the cosmic cube on the roof, and rushed down with Thor's hammer. Since the problem can't be solved, then solve the person who created the problem. The person who created this crisis is undoubtedly Loki. Iron Man, I'll help you. In the face of justice, you have to kill your relatives. Loki was attacked from both sides by Thor and Iron Man, and he was a little embarrassed because of his slow hands and feet. He knew how powerful the two were, so he immediately raised his hand and said, "Wait a minute." Thor withdrew his hand, and Iron Man felt that he was going to explode, but he also gave Thor face and stopped temporarily. Thor walked over and said sadly, "Loki, are you finally convinced? Stop it immediately, come back to Asgard with me now, and accept your punishment." Loki pretended to be guilty and said, "I know I can't beat you, Thor." When Loki approached Thor, he suddenly took out a dagger and stabbed Thor's waist. Be careful, Iron Man has been on guard against Loki. Loki's knife was too insidious. Thor still trusted his brother too much and was successfully attacked by Loki. Ha ha ha. Don't be naive. Loki looked up at the sky. The cosmic cube had successfully opened the space-time channel. Countless black aliens, driving strange-shaped aircraft, fell from the sky. After invading the Earth, they attacked the city without saying a word. It was also a long-range beam attack, which was more powerful than bullets. Humans began to fight back, but ordinary bullets could not penetrate the solid metal armor worn by the aliens. The invasion of the Earth begins, and I will eventually become the master of the Earth. Boom boom boom. The war between humans and aliens began to break out. When Loki spoke arrogantly, he jumped directly, and an alien happened to catch Loki in a special aircraft. Loki looked at the depressed Thor and Iron Man, and felt very proud. I shouldn't have believed him. Thor began to apologize to Iron Man, and at the same time pulled out the dagger stuck in his waist. After all, Thor was a god, and this injury was nothing to him. Iron Man shook his head and said, "Don't blame you, that Loki is too treacherous. Just now I also tried to break the shield outside the cosmic cube, and I couldn't stop the space-time channel opened by the cosmic cube. Now the only thing we can do is to fight the alien army." There was another sentence that Iron Man didn't say, that is, he felt that if the savior goddess Hermione took action, she should be able to stop the cosmic cube. However, he didn't dare to guarantee it. At the same time, the goddess Hermione selected these superheroes to form the Avengers Alliance, with the purpose of solving the crisis on Earth. If everything is left to goddess Hermione, then what is the meaning of their existence? Thor nodded, holding Thor's hammer, and hit the head of the alien who attacked him recklessly. The Chitauri's head is perfectly inlaid with steel, and even bullets cannot penetrate it. However, at this moment, it was deformed by a hammer and died instantly. Iron Man's attack is also strong. The beams fired from his palms are a special energy body, which is more powerful than bullets. It can also kill enemies when attacking aliens. When the war broke out, Black Widow, Captain America and Hawkeye also joined the battle. This was the first perfect cooperation of the Avengers. Some were responsible for long-range attacks, some were responsible for close-range attacks, and some were responsible for defense. Captain America took the lead in evacuating the crowd to avoid greater casualties in the battle. Captain America has no military rank, and the human soldiers fighting on the side did not want to follow Captain America's arrangements. However, when Captain America showed his super strength of fighting 3 alone, the human officers immediately began to follow his arrangements. This Captain America looks like a human, but in fact he is already stronger than an ordinary soldier. Hawkeye was more focused on Loki, being controlled by this alien and becoming his lackey. Hawkeye had to avenge this. He drew his bow and shot an arrow, and the special arrow immediately shot towards Loki. Loki was a great wizard, and bullets could not easily hit him. let alone an arrow. Loki knew that it was Hawkeye who shot it, and he was not only too lazy to dodge, but even stretched out his hand with a proud attitude to grab the arrow shot by Loki. His face was full of sarcasm, as if saying, "Little guy, your little attack is not worth mentioning to me." However, seeing that Loki did not dodge, but grabbed the arrow, Hawkeye also laughed. Boom! It turned out that there was a small bomb on Hawkeye's arrow, which exploded at a fixed point. Loki was blown away on the spot, in a mess. If Loki was an ordinary human, this level of explosion would blow his head like a watermelon to pieces. But Loki's hair was only blown up, and his face was black and embarrassed. On the surface, it seems that humans have the upper hand in the battle against aliens, because the strength of the Avengers is very strong, and the alien forces are no match for them. However, as the space-time channel opened by the cosmic cube continues to open, more and more aliens invade the Earth. There are too many enemies. Relying solely on the Avengers and the human resistance on the ground, it is impossible to wipe them out. However, at this time, a scene that made countless humans despair appeared. From the huge space-time wormhole, a roar of a huge beast as if from ancient times came. A super beast covered with armor, covering the sky and the sun, as huge as a building with hundreds of floors, fell from the sky. It was so terrifying. When humans saw this scene, they trembled from the bottom of their hearts, and even felt a sense of powerlessness that they suddenly lost their fighting power. How can we fight this? In front of such an alien beast, humans are too small, like ants. Chapter 628. The Hulk admires the savior Hermione too much. The alien monster covered the sky and the sun when seen from close up, and the people under it were filled with despair. Miss Hermione had traveled through the alien world for many years and had long been accustomed to life and death. In an emergency, she looked at the system pop-up task in front of her. She chose to take action. Of course, Miss Hermione's action was somewhat different from what others imagined. As a goddess behind the scenes, Hermione came to the Hulk and said in a voice that only he could hear, "It's your turn to start fighting." The Hulk understood what Hermione meant. Only he could deal with the alien monster that covered the sky and the sun. However, his only worry was that he could not control his power. Hermione dispelled his concerns and said, "In the next battle, I will use my power to give you a clear mind." As she spoke, Hermione waved her hand, and a high-level magic power entered the Hulk's brain, separating the violent gamma-ray radiation mutant genes from the clear brain. This requires not only top-level magic, but also surgical-level magic precision control. Undoubtedly, only Hermione can do it in the Marvel Universe. In the original movie, it was not explained in detail how the Hulk could perfectly control his mutant powers. And here, Miss Hermione secretly made a move. Ouch! The Hulk roared wildly, and the terrifying sound waves alone were enough to shatter the car glass in front of him. Bruce Banner transformed into the real Hulk, and his brain was clearer than ever before. This feeling is so cool. The Hulk admired the savior Hermione so much. In this world, only she can do it so easily. The Hulk did not complain about why Hermione did not help him solve the uncontrollable mutant power in normal times, because he understood that Hermione was above everything, and everything she did was for a reason. Don't analyze the behavior of God from a mortal's perspective. Just having the savior around is enough to make people feel very reassured. At this moment, an alien invader wanted to attack the Hulk, and seemed to think that the suddenly transformed Hulk was a threat. However, the Hulk waved his hand casually, and his powerful arm hit the alien's face directly. With a bang, the alien was knocked out and his head was deformed. Boom! The Hulk kicked the ground with his feet, and the ground even cracked directly with terrifying cracks. Then the Hulk rushed out like a human-shaped cannonball, jumped on the alien beast. At that moment, Captain America, Iron Man, Black Widow, Thor and others in the Avengers looked over. It's the Hulk. Surprised, the Hulk relied on his invincible brute force to forcibly trip the huge alien beast, and at the same time, holding the huge alien beast's tentacles in his hands, he directly pierced into the alien beast's head. Rumble! The earth trembled, and tall buildings collapsed. When everything stopped, the Hulk had already killed the alien beast. Too strong. He is worthy of being an SSS-level superhero. At that moment, all mankind remembered the power of the Hulk. However, aliens kept jumping down from the space-time channel that was still open above the Stark Industries headquarters building. At the same time, several more alien beasts, like the one that the Hulk had just killed, came down. Everyone looked very ugly. Although the Avengers were stronger than the aliens, they could not withstand the endless flow of enemies, especially those top-level beasts. At this time, a new option task popped up in front of Miss Hermione. She flew directly to Iron Man and said to him, "You also deal with an alien beast and fly into the beast's mouth." Iron Man immediately understood what Goddess Hermione meant. He had known that Goddess Hermione could fly, and he was not surprised at all during the battle. However, looking at the abyss of the alien beast's bloody mouth, he was still a little scared. Hermione chanted a spell, adding a defensive magic to Iron Man's outer armor, and said to Iron Man, "Don't worry, just go." With the Goddess Hermione's guarantee, Iron Man's courage doubled. Although he could not be as brutal as the Hulk, his courage also gave him unparalleled strength. Launched at the maximum speed, Iron Man was like a cannonball, directly penetrating the entire body of the alien beast. From the mouth of the beast, it shuttled all the way to the tail, and then flew out. Iron Man was basically uninjured except for being a little knocked out. The huge alien beast could only rumble to the ground helplessly. It brought a huge impact force, causing the houses on the side to collapse in an instant. On the other side, Thor, the god of thunder, cooperated with Black Widow and Loki, and successfully killed an alien beast. Captain America fought with alien soldiers to save more ordinary people in the war. The battle entered a white-hot stage. However, the highest commanders of mankind are certainly not Nick Fury, the commander of SHIELD. Most of the city was fighting the alien invaders, and the black hole in the sky was still transporting the enemies. So, a terrifying decision was made directly: launch a nuclear warhead. All the alien invaders must die in this city, and they must not continue to spread to more areas, otherwise the consequences will be disastrous. Nick Fury was of course opposed. He believed that his Avengers could solve it, but the upper-level decision-makers did not believe it. If the number of enemies was limited, it was still believable, but if the space-time channel was not closed, there would be countless alien invasions. In the end, the fighter with a nuclear warhead took off, and soon over the sea, the nuclear warhead was launched through an intercontinental missile. Nick Fury of SHIELD knew the seriousness of the matter and immediately notified the entire Avengers. Iron Man's armor was very advanced and could receive the signal the fastest. Knowing that a nuclear warhead was flying quickly, he cursed angrily. If the nuclear bomb exploded, then this city would be completely destroyed. Savior, what should I do? Iron Man knew that at such a dangerous moment, he must consult Hermione. She would definitely have a way. Hermione looked at the system pop-up window. Option 1. Let the nuclear bomb explode in the city. The explosion is art. Completing the task will reward you with a super-large nuclear warhead. Option 2. Let Iron Man carry the nuclear warhead like in the original play, and transport the nuclear warhead through the space-time black hole to the alien airspace for explosion. Completing the task will reward you with basic attribute +1. Option 3. Don't care, let the destruction and salvation of this city be controlled by others. Completing the task will reward you with the exclusive attribute, let it go, +1. The answer to the three options is obvious. Hermione quickly told Iron Man, "You go carry the nuclear bomb and send it to the alien base in the black hole." Iron Man was immediately dumbfounded. Is this such a cool operation? He trembled a little and said, "Can I do it? What if the nuclear bomb explodes when I approach?" Hermione said firmly, "Of course you can do it. Believe in yourself. In the original play, you can do it even without my appearance. Of course, there may be some unknown small accidents because of my appearance. But all of this is not a big deal." Okay. With the encouragement of the Savior, Iron Man immediately became brave and flew over quickly. In fact, Iron Man had confidence, but the cautious Hermione was not as confident as she said. She was also worried that Iron Man would explode while transporting the nuclear warhead. Chapter 629 Iron Man's takeaway for the aliens has arrived. Even though Hermione can destroy half a city by herself now, her cautious character has not changed. After all, a nuclear warhead is not an ordinary missile. If you are not careful, it may cause extremely terrible consequences. So when Iron Man was asked to resist the nuclear warhead and deliver food to the alien base, Hermione also took action. She came to the top of the nuclear warhead, and when her palm carefully touched the nuclear warhead, the advanced magic in her body carefully invaded it. The detonation of a nuclear bomb is a very delicate matter. Hermione, who loves learning, has long been familiar with the explosion principle of nuclear bombs. Through surgical-level magic operations, she successfully mastered the detonation control of the nuclear bomb perfectly in her own hands. In other words, even if Iron Man carried this nuclear bomb and hit the alien monster first due to operational problems, the goddess Hermione did not let the nuclear bomb explode, and the nuclear bomb would at most be like an iron ball and would not explode at all. Only when Hermione decided that it could explode, the nuclear bomb would explode. That's how awesome it is. Of course, after Hermione did all this, she did not tell Iron Man the details. There was no need. Iron Man was naturally nervous and transported it carefully. After being a superhero for so many years, this was the first time that Iron Man felt so brave. When carrying the nuclear warhead, even he himself felt incredible and unreal. However, Iron Man did not dare to be careless. During the transportation of the nuclear warhead, he must not be hit by the alien attack, otherwise the consequences would be disastrous. What is Iron Man transporting? The other Avengers were stunned when they saw it. Black Widow was wearing a communication headset. She was also one of the first people to receive the communication from Commander Nick Fury of S.H.I.E.L.D. She looked up at the sky, and that Iron Man was like a dazzling meteor. Black Widow said bitterly, "That's an atomic bomb." Captain America was also stunned. The Hulk was also silent. Although he could withstand gamma rays, he had never experienced a close-range nuclear bomb explosion. Thor didn't even know what an atomic bomb was. Those alien races that invaded the Earth didn't know either. Loki returned to the Stark Industries headquarters building and looked over. He seemed to feel something and his face was grim. He didn't seem to expect that humans would be so decisive. Is this the rhythm of mutual destruction? However, even if the nuclear bomb explodes and all the aliens here are destroyed, it will not determine the final outcome of the war. As long as the space-time black hole connecting the two places is still open, it will be enough for a steady stream of aliens to continue to descend on Earth. The war will not stop. However, when Loki saw Iron Man carrying a nuclear warhead, the target seemed to be the huge space-time black hole in the air. Loki finally panicked. Damn, that lunatic. Loki seemed to want to stop him. He immediately stretched out his mind scepter and wanted to shoot down Iron Man. However, his wrist suddenly hurt, and he saw Agent Hermione, who was wearing a mask not far away, actually shot at him. Damn it, this woman's shooting skills are too accurate. Loki was furious. He raised his hand to fight back, but Hermione's shooting skills were not only exquisite, but also her body skills. She is not biased in subjects. She has all the skills. Loki can't hit her at all. With this delay, the Iron Man has successfully transported the nuclear warhead into the black hole. When entering the space-time black hole, from the perspective of Iron Man, the whole world is instantly quiet. In outer space, it seems that there is nothing. No sound, no air, nothing. However, a huge alien super spaceship can be seen. Is that the enemy's base? After a brief loss, Iron Man reaffirmed his confidence. At this moment, his blood surged, and he no longer cared about his own life or death. The nuclear warhead was sent directly to the alien nest. In the original movie, the enemies seemed to be still, waiting for Iron Man to deliver the food, and they did not stop or attack at all. The aliens here are not that stupid. Although they don't know what the big treasure is that Iron Man risked his life to deliver, they can't let Iron Man succeed like this. Intensive artillery fire collectively attacked Iron Man. It's over. Iron Man was disheartened. At this moment, he felt that he was going to die with this nuclear bomb. However, at this critical moment, Hermione appeared. She was walking on the ground in outer space, and her long hair was fluttering. Ordinary humans cannot survive in outer space without protective clothing, but she can. She wore the magneto bracelet on her wrist and held the ice crystals of the ice box in her right hand. She often used the magneto bracelet, but the ice crystals of the ice box were rarely used. Except for making ice cream and frozen seafood, they were rarely used in battle. The magneto bracelet first created and controlled all attacks with metal, all suspended in outer space, and it was extremely dazzling at that moment. The huge light illuminated Hermione like a real god. Iron Man, who was still carrying a nuclear warhead in the back, was stunned. At this moment, deep in his heart, he had only one thought: this is the savior. The next moment, all elemental attacks that were not metal attacks were frozen by the ice crystals of the icebox, forming a terrifying iceberg in the entire outer space. It was almost suffocating to see. There was also the Tathagata palm that Hermione had not used for a long time. At this moment, she slapped it out with one palm. Countless ice cubes shattered, and all the aliens around were knocked away. Iron Man was shocked and no longer stunned. He directly threw the nuclear warhead onto the enemy alien super spaceship. However, Iron Man, who was waiting for the explosion, was a little stunned. What's going on? Why didn't it explode? Hermione took Iron Man away from the black hole quickly. When they arrived at the mouth of the space-time black hole, Hermione suddenly snapped her fingers. Boom! A terrifying explosion immediately exploded inside the enemy super spaceship. Until this moment, Iron Man was shocked. It turns out that the nuclear warhead he transported has always been under the control of the savior Hermione. If she says to explode, it will explode. If she says not to explode, it will not explode. Is this the strength of the savior? It's so terrifying. Iron Man will probably never forget the scene that just happened in outer space. He can't forget it at all. After Iron Man fell into the black hole, his heart became nervous again. He found that Hermione, the savior, was gone, and his Iron Man armor seemed to have problems in outer space. At this time, it lost control and fell directly from midair. The savior has hidden his strength again and doesn't care about me. Oh my god, what should he do? Fortunately, when Iron Man returned as a hero, all the other members of the Avengers saw it. At this moment, the Hulk, who was still in a clear mind, immediately jumped up, faster than a missile, and caught Iron Man fiercely. It stopped Thor, who was about to fly up to save people. Thor looked at the place where the space-time black hole was still open. As long as the cosmic cube is not stopped, this black hole will still be the root of all problems. However, Thor's worries were soon resolved, because the goddess Hermione took action. In the system options, there is an option to end the war, and the reward is super generous. Hermione entered the cosmic cube launch site as a mortal. When she reached out to touch the cosmic cube, the system immediately prompted, "Congratulations on completing the task. Reward high imitation version, Space Gem, +1." Chapter 630 Hermione's Great Harvest. In this Avengers War, Hermione undoubtedly gained a lot. First, she got a high imitation version of the Mind Stone, and now before the end, she got a high imitation version of the Space Stone. The gems look similar in size, but they have completely different powers. For Hermione, the role is equally huge. Her portkey has always had its limits. As her knowledge and strength improve, she continues to improve the portkey, and only then can she have the current version of the portkey. The role of the Space Stone is to control space. Obviously, in the Marvel Universe, different people have different ways of developing the Space Stone. First, Hydra and S.H.I.E.L.D. used the Space Stone, Cosmic Cube, to make weapons. The result was not satisfactory. After Loki got it, he used it to open a space-time black hole, which can connect two space-times. At the end of the original plot, Thanos got the Space Stone. He assembled 6 of them, snapped his fingers with the Infinity Gauntlet, and instantly destroyed half of the creatures in the universe. But in the eyes of Goddess Hermione, they did not play the true power of the Space Stone. There are too many functions that can be developed in space-time. This kind of treasure can bring as much effect as the imagination allows. But Hermione is still unable to fully exert the power of the space gem. So she used the first generation of infinite gem rings she developed to exert the space gem's ability to control space. In short, it's a very useful treasure. Her again, you ruined my good thing. Loki saw that Hermione easily succeeded in stopping the cosmic cube from continuing to open the space-time channel. He was shocked and couldn't accept it. Did it fail again? Why? Why are so many people against him? Damn it. Even though he was very upset, Loki had no other choice at the moment. The best plan was to leave here quickly. However, when Loki turned around, he was stunned. He saw Thor, Iron Man, Hulk, Captain America, Black Widow, and Hawkeye and the Avengers were all standing in front of him. I am the supreme god, you mortals. The Hulk had long disliked Loki. Of course, the one who was most unhappy was Hawkeye. He was controlled by Loki at the beginning and turned from a top agent into a minion of the villain. However, Hawkeye's ability is limited, not as invincible and impulsive as the Hulk. Boom! The Hulk rushed over, and then a famous scene appeared. The Hulk grabbed one of Loki's legs as he jumped up and tried to escape. He swung it left and right, and smashed it on the hard ground. Loki was so stunned that he was stunned. God? If you are also a god, then you are too weak in the eyes of the Hulk. The only one who can be called a god is the goddess Hermione. The Hulk can't see through her ability, but the Hulk knows that she is the real god. As for Loki and Thor, they are just humans with a higher bloodline than humans. It's nothing great. Thor not only did not stop the Hulk's atrocities, but sneered, Loki, if you do bad things, you must accept the punishment. Loki lay on the broken floor tiles, dying and doubting his life. The Hulk is an earthling, but his strength is obviously beyond Loki's imagination. The war is over. It ended very quickly, because when Hermione stopped the cosmic cube from continuing to glow and heat, the space-time channel was immediately closed. The aliens on the ground lost their energy source in an instant and all fell down. It must be said that the intelligence level of these aliens is very low. They cannot obtain energy alone and can only rely on remote connection. If the connection is disconnected, all power sources will be lost immediately. The flaw is too obvious. After the aliens fell collectively, the only thing left in the battle was to clean up the battlefield. Of course, the Avengers don't need to do this kind of thing. Everyone got together and discussed some things, and then went their separate ways. Captain America planned to give himself a vacation for a while to find some freedom. The Hulk also planned to return to his original hidden life. He didn't want to stay in crowded places. If the goddess Hermione hadn't taken action, he would not be able to clearly control the power of transforming into the Hulk. He knew this and understood it. There was no suspense about Hawkeye and Black Widow. They would continue to work at S.H.I.E.L.D. Of course, Iron Man would continue to be his boss. Thor, after successfully negotiating with Nick Fury, the commander of S.H.I.E.L.D., decided to take the Cosmic Cube, the Mind Scepter, and the sinner Loki back to Asgard for trial. As for the cooperation between S.H.I.E.L.D. and the human leaders, it was because they were afraid of Loki's ability. This alien has the ability to start the first war between Earthlings and aliens. If Loki continues to stay on Earth, he may start a second war. The safest way is to let this war leader go back to where he came from. Hermione continued to be an agent wearing a mask, and she did not disappear. Now she no longer has social phobia and does not need to be invisible all the time. Strength is the best medicine to solve all social phobias. On this day, the Avengers gathered for the last time to send Thor and Loki away together. Loki was not only handcuffed, but also had a device tied to his mouth to prevent his mouth from disturbing people's mood. I'm leaving. During my time on Earth, I will miss you all. Thor's eyes swept through everyone one by one, and finally fell on Ms. Hermione. Hermione's graceful figure is more attractive than Black Widow. It was rare for Hermione to say something. Although this crisis has been successfully resolved, the universe is not peaceful. There will be new crises. You all must remain vigilant. Hermione did not avoid suspicion and said it in front of Loki. Loki's expression was very strange. Sure enough, his sixth sense was right. This masked goddess was not simple. The Avengers members who were unwilling to submit to each other nodded collectively at this moment, as if what the goddess Hermione said was an imperial decree. In the original play, it was Odin who used his divine power to summon Thor and Loki back. This side is different. Hermione moved the ring with the high imitation space gem, and the powerful space power emitted a dazzling light. Hermione directly teleported Thor and Loki back to Asgard by herself. Just when Hermione thought she had completed her small task and was about to receive the reward, suddenly, something unexpected appeared in front of her. A dark cloud-like substance. However, the Hulk, Iron Man, and Captain America, who had not yet left the scene, seemed to have not noticed it. Could this be? If Hermione had not been exposed to it first, she would not have been able to guess it. That's right. This is the breath of the magic world. And this cloud-like thing is a part of the Dementors. Is this a reminder for me to go back to Hogwarts to take a look? It has indeed been a long time since I went back to Hogwarts. Hermione will not forget that as Lin Qingyun, the first world she traveled through was Harry Potter. She grew up there for several years. After she became powerful, she traveled to Marvel. Before returning to Marvel this time, she also lived in the world of battle through the heavens for several years. Counting it all together, it has indeed been a long time since I went back to Hogwarts. Hogwarts used to be a foreign land, but now it is also half of my hometown. In Hermione's heart, the magical world of Hogwarts is like the newbie village, where she created something from nothing. Chapter 631. Go back to Harry Potter first, catch a Dementor as a pet, and then travel through the Great Ruler. Hermione felt that her story was quite long, although she still didn't quite understand what the real purpose of her traveling from an ordinary beautiful girl Lin Qingyun to another world and constantly doing selection tasks was. The system didn't tell her this either. But along the way, she did grow a lot and became a lot stronger. Life is like a train that can't be stopped once it's started. Even if you want to take a break, there will be a strong hand that keeps pushing you forward. Hermione didn't complain or hesitate too much. She reached out and touched the Dementors from the Harry Potter world. Dementors are a very strange thing. When you get close to it, you can clearly feel that your happy emotions are being absorbed. Hermione initially resisted Dementors and needed to use the Patronus charm like Harry Potter in the original play. But later, after obtaining the advanced magic book awarded by the system, it contained more advanced magic to destroy Dementors, instead of just dispelling it. But now, Hermione has so many magic weapons and abilities that she is dazzled. Now, the best way to deal with Dementors is to use the Mind Gem. Even though the one Hermione has is a high-end imitation of the Mind Gem, its function is the same. Dementors can indeed bring coldness, darkness, and the terrifying ability to suck away happiness. But in fact, most of these abilities are generated from the mind. In other words, Hermione, who has the Mind Gem, can not only rely on this gem to successfully resist the attacks brought by Dementors, but also use the Mind Gem and advanced magic to control Dementors. Even change the properties of Dementors from the inside out. For example, Dementors bring coldness, darkness, and loss of happiness. Then, Miss Hermione Granger, who is several times stronger than Loki, is fully capable of exerting the more powerful power of the Mind Gem, and with the help of advanced magic, successfully change Dementors from the inside out. The changed Dementors can become hot, dazzling, and even bring happiness to others. The kiss of Dementors can bring happiness to people. Hermione thinks this brain hole is worth a try. Anyway, now that Hermione has 2 gems, she is not afraid of Dementors at all. Grabbing a piece of the Dementors' dark matter, Hermione traveled back to the Hogwarts Wizarding World. The taste of Novice Village made Hermione feel a little peaceful. Once upon a time, when she was worried and scared at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, she was still thinking about when she could really go home. But now, it has been too long, and time is enough to change most things. Returning to the Novice Village Wizarding World, Hermione felt as if she had returned to her hometown. The story location is in the background of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. At the beginning, Harry quarreled with his brainless bad cousin. Because Harry's bad cousin brought his friends to bully the weak, Harry was sitting on the swing alone, and he couldn't stand it, so he said a few more words. Then Harry's bad cousin and Harry started to mock each other. In the original play, Harry's mood was extremely unstable and he seemed to have some anxiety disorder, which was obviously affected by the previous story Goblet of Fire. Although Harry Potter was still upset about the death of his classmates and the successful resurrection of Voldemort, the pressure on Harry was much less because of the existence of Hermione Granger. He was not as nervous as in the original play, and he would not get angry at any time. He was not at a disadvantage in the mutual ridicule and scolding with his bad cousin. But when the Dementors suddenly attacked, all the bad cousin's friends were scared and fled. Harry didn't care about anything else and called his bad cousin to escape to the air raid shelter together. Student wizards cannot use magic at will outside. Harry wondered if he could get rid of the Dementors. The Dementors suddenly appeared in the town of the Muggle world and attacked him, which was probably related to Voldemort. Harry didn't want to fall into the trap. After fighting Voldemort for many years, although Harry was not very old, he also understood something. However, when Hermione Granger suddenly traveled back and grabbed a corner of the Dementor in one hand, the scene was a bit weird. Hermione? Harry Potter was surprised, because with the improvement of Hermione's system level, when Hermione traveled to another world, the time of the original world would stop, but the time of the world Hermione traveled to would still roll normally. In other words, Harry Potter was still a 15-year-old boy at this time. But Hermione Granger had lived in Marvel for several years and in the Key Continent for several years. Now, even though she has various magical powers, she looks delicate and beautiful, but it is obvious that her age and maturity are much older than Harry Potter. At least she feels like an 18-year-old girl. When Hermione saw Harry Potter, she first felt that he was so kind, worthy of being a good friend who lived and studied together for several years. That feeling, no need to say more, a look of familiarity from both sides can make it clear. However, Hermione does have a sense of age. Harry is so young, so small. I feel that my mental state is far superior to Harry, but forget it. Anyway, I can pretend to be young. This is not the time to reminisce with Harry. Hermione, holding the Dementor in her hand, traveled all the way from Marvel to the Wizarding World. The system immediately popped up options. Option 1, catch a Dementor as a pet, and complete the task to reward basic attributes +2. Option 2, the show begins, escape with Harry Potter, and then let Harry use the Patronus charm to disperse the Dementor. Complete the task to reward basic attributes +1. Option 3, ignore the Dementors, take Harry Potter to drink and talk happily. Friends have not seen each other for many years, and get drunk. Complete the task to reward basic attributes +1. There is no doubt that option 1 is the most profitable. It is also the most bizarre, because Miss Hermione is a person who is extremely afraid of trouble. When she was a witch student at Hogwarts, she didn't even keep an owl. Now, she wants to catch a Dementor as a pet. If it was before, Hermione would not dare to think about it. Now, touching her extremely smooth little chin, thinking for a while, it seems that it is not impossible. Mind gem, plus advanced magic work at the same time. Under the stunned eyes of Harry Potter, Hermione's space ring seemed to have turned into a small black hole, directly sucking in the controlled and very docile Dementors. In Hermione's opinion, anyway, Dementors don't need to eat, so they are temporarily sealed in the space ring. It shouldn't be too much trouble to keep them as pets. Hermione, you. When Hermione was about to explain to Harry, an even more unexpected situation occurred. Congratulations on completing the option 1 task, and reward basic attributes +2. At the same time, the system prompts, successfully triggered a new world crossing. Please take the 9 Dragons coffin immediately and go to the exciting world of the Great Ruler. What the hell? Hermione was stunned. She just crossed back to the Novice Village. She hasn't even said a few words to the important NPC Harry Potter, and just accepted a Dementor as a pet, and she is going to go on a business trip to the new world immediately. Speechless. Hermione felt a bit of a headache, The story of Harry Potter has not yet ended, the story of Marvel has just ended with Avengers 1, and Battle Through the Heavens has not yet reached the 3-year deadline. Is it time to go to the Great Ruler again? Forget it. Let's just travel through time. Hermione consoled herself. It seems not bad to see a new world, a new story, and learn some new skills. Life lies in the scenery along the way. Chapter 632 9 Dragons pull the coffin into the Great Ruler. In the wizarding world, no one could know what Hermione saw. 9 huge dragon corpses, dragging a huge coffin, appeared in front of Hermione. This was the tool for the upcoming travel. Hermione sat on it without even saying goodbye to Harry. Whoosh! The 9 dragons pulled the coffin and left this world in an instant, as if it exceeded the speed of light, heading towards the new world. To be honest, Hermione was still a little nervous sitting in the 9 dragons pulling coffin. It was not because of the fear of the world of the heaven covering, but she felt that the coffin was for the dead to live in, and whether it would be bad for her to travel in this way. However, the 9 dragons pulling coffin did not give her too much private time to think. Soon, she came to this world. The world at the beginning of the heaven covering was on Earth. When the Space Station Observatory discovered the 9 dragons pulling coffin, they were stunned. They discovered this scene from the vast night sky and even thought they had seen it wrong. However, what made them even more unbelievable was still to come. That is, Hermione stood up from the coffin without wearing the mask. How scary is this in the vast universe? The members of the Space Station Observatory will have nightmares tonight. Although they can all see that Hermione has a stunning and beautiful face, it is still too unbelievable. Yi-Fan, the most important male protagonist in the story of the Heaven Shattering, has an okay personality and does not have the kind of comparison mentality of ordinary people. The things he studies are also different from those of ordinary people. Choice 1. Go to Yi-Fan to talk, sign in and punch in, and complete the task to reward basic attributes +1. Choice 2. Find a place with a piano for coffee, play a song, and reward exclusive attribute, music, +1. Choice 3. Stroll around the earth and see the scenery, and complete the task to reward exclusive attribute, tourism, +1. The rewards for coming to this world are relatively simple. To be honest, Hermione really wants to stroll around this world, because this Earth is very similar to the planet before Hermione's first crossing. Maybe she can find her first memory as Lin Qingyun here. However, Hermione feels that the past is over. Now she should put interests first. It's just like the essential difference between children playing games and adults playing games. Children may play games simply for the sake of playing, although they want to win every time. They can accept losing. But adults are different. They have limited time. They play games to relax. If they can win, they don't want to lose at all. If they lose too much, they don't want to play anymore. Hermione is like that adult. She has traveled through too many times. Perhaps she has almost lost the sense of pure experience. There is only benefit. Getting more and more benefits is the most important thing. So Hermione didn't want to delay and immediately started the main task to approach Yi-Fan. Yi-Fan also started his special life. He didn't know that Hermione came to Earth in the 9-dragon coffin under the shocked eyes of the space station observers. He is going to attend the class reunion today, where there are people, there are rivers and lakes. The evil of human nature is that you don't want others to live better than yourself. Only when you are better than others can you live better. Yi-Fan, who reads Huang Danjing, obviously has higher pursuits. Yi-Fan, did you take a taxi? It was Liu Yunzai who spoke. He drove an ordinary car and asked Yi-Fan with a sense of superiority. There was a beautiful classmate Lin Jia in his car. Yi-Fan greeted calmly and did not respond to the topic of cars. In his opinion, a car is just a means of transportation. Even if he came by taxi, it doesn't matter. Although he came in a luxury car, Yi-Fan is very outstanding. This is the case in the university campus, and it is still the same after entering the society. After a conversation, Yi-Fan met his old classmate Hermione, who surprised him a little. Long time no see. Hermione stroked the mind gem ring on her slender fingers. She did not use magic, but the release of the mind gem alone was enough to affect many people. Yi-Fan was obviously affected, and the memory of his old classmate Hermione did emerge in the depths of his brain memory. It's all my fault. I can't remember some things. Yi-Fan couldn't remember Hermione, but he really shouldn't blame him. Hermione smiled and said, "My name is Lee Hermione. I was not famous on the university campus back then. It's normal that you don't remember me." Not famous? Yi-Fan just saw his old classmate Lin Jia, and the woman's appearance can enter the entertainment industry. But compared with Lee Hermione in front of him, it was like heaven and earth. Yi-Fan even suspected that this Lee Hermione was like a fairy from the mythical world. As the class reunion began, most of Yi-Fan's classmates were in their 20s, but now they have developed differently. Some have become successful in their careers, some have taken the wrong path and their lives have fallen to the bottom. They cannot come to the class reunion, and only when the classmates who know about it talk about it, they are known to everyone. There are also many old classmates who can be called by Yi-Fan, such as Zhu Yi, Wang Ziwen, Yu Yunzai, Lin Jia, etc. And Lee Hermione is undoubtedly the most special one in this class reunion. Her appearance, figure, and even temperament are all better than other women. However, she used the mind gem to make everyone pay attention to her. She is like the most inconspicuous in the class, and it is even the easiest for others to forget her existence. In short, her presence is very low. If Lee Hermione looks ordinary and has an ordinary temperament, it is understandable. But Yi-Fan is not blind. He certainly knows that Lee Hermione is extraordinary. But the attention that Lee Hermione received at this moment was really beyond common sense. Because there were rich classmates at the class reunion, and the location was in Super Entertainment City, which was a relatively prosperous place. Everyone was civilized, and there was no fighting. Lee Hermione, whose original name was Lin Qingyun, added a surname to herself. When she first crossed over, she had just taken the college entrance examination not long ago and had not yet been to college. But because of the system plug-in, many of her professional knowledge was much better than that of university professors. However, no matter what, for the female academic bully Lee Hermione, there were still some regrets without the experience of college life. At this moment, because of the system task, she was close to Yi-Fan, the male protagonist of the Great Ruler, and thus participated in this class reunion. Feeling the friendship between their classmates and the competitive spirit revealed in their words, there were still some feelings. Of course, it was KTV singing at night. Lee Hermione's songs were very good, but she did not choose to sing. She has always been very low-key, and there is no need to deliberately show her talents. Others ignored Lee Hermione's existence because of the mind gem, but Yi-Fan has been secretly observing Lee Hermione. Yi-Fan, who has been studying special knowledge, naturally pays more attention to the weirdness of Lee Hermione. Yi-Fan is not a vulgar person. He does not continue to pay attention to Lee Hermione because of his beauty. From the perspective of outsiders, there are many male classmates who are better than Yi-Fan in this class reunion. But Yi-Fan is not bragging. He thinks Lee Hermione likes him more. He doesn't know why. From Yi-Fan's perspective, a gorgeous woman like Lee Hermione is an extremely excellent resource and should move closer to a more outstanding man. Seeing the opportunity, Yi-Fan and Lee Hermione walked on the street. Chapter 633. Yi-Fan is shocked. The night breeze was cool, and it was clear that Lee Hermione and Yi-Fan had just met for the first time today. Deep in Yi-Fan's heart, he felt as if he had seen Lee Hermione for a long time. If Yi-Fan knew Lee Hermione's true identity, he didn't know how he would feel. After all, Lee Hermione was the goddess who accompanied Harry Potter, Ron, Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, Captain America, Diane and others to grow up. Now that she is by Yi-Fan's side, if nothing unexpected happens, Yi-Fan is destined to be successful. Lee Hermione, your appearance and temperament are both excellent, but why, at the class reunion, I can't feel other people's attention to you? Yi-Fan finally asked the question that he had been thinking about all day. Lee Hermione smiled and replied, "It's very simple, because I am not conspicuous. The advantages you have discovered can only be seen by you, and others can't see them." Yi-Fan was a little confused, and he said bluntly, "I didn't understand some of it." The night wind blew Lee Hermione's long hair, making her look like a fairy. To put it simply, you have an eye that can discover beauty, but others don't. Li Herman's words were very profound, and she pointed to the night sky with her delicate jade fingers. Just like that starry sky, ordinary human eyes can only see that sea of stars, but cannot observe the world behind the sea of stars. At this point, Yi Fan finally understood something. The moment he understood, Yi Fan was shocked. Could it be that this beautiful woman next to him was not ordinary? Her beauty and excellence were hidden behind the starry sky, so her old classmates could not pay attention to her at all. But I could see it carefully. Li Herman saw that Yi Fan seemed to have something to say, so she reminded him, "Don't think too much, go to bed early. Something big may happen tomorrow, you need to get enough sleep." After that, she left Yi Fan and went back to the hotel alone. Her back was wrapped in mystery in the night. The strange feeling deep in Yi Fan's heart became stronger. After returning to the hotel, Yi Fan was still thinking, but he was indeed inspired by Li Herman, and felt that he should go to bed early, and if there was anything, he could wait until tomorrow. The next day, just after dawn, everyone proposed to travel to the Fengshan area together. Everyone was prepared for a long time for this class reunion, so naturally they had to have fun. Because Yi Fan was affected by the information that Li Herman had revealed in advance, he seemed to be in a different mood from others. Today, 2 more people joined the class reunion team, Li Ziyaman and Cade. Cade was a foreigner, and Li Ziyaman and Yi Fan had a past. If he hadn't met Li Herman before, Yi Fan might have put more thoughts on Li Ziyaman. After all, this was an old friend. However, the appearance of Li Herman undoubtedly made the other people in the class reunion unimportant. Some classmates noticed it and asked curiously, "Why doesn't Yi Fan talk to us? He's always with Li Herman. Do they have any stories?" However, I feel that my memory of Li Herman is very shallow. What about you? Do you have any memory of Li Herman when you were in college? Everyone shook their heads, but no one paid much attention to it. The scenery of Fengshan was extremely beautiful, and everyone was quickly attracted by the scenic spots and historical sites. Just like people are born to compare, everyone has the same mood when it comes to traveling and seeing different scenic spots and historical sites. Everyone quickly forgot about Yi Fan and Li Herman. Since these 2 people don't get along, forget it. Li Ziyaman now has a foreigner named Cade by her side, and she doesn't have much emotion when she looks at Yi Fan. The past stories are all in the past. Everyone lives for the future, and smart people don't keep too much emotion and energy in the past. Yi Fan looked at Li Herman beside him and asked, "Last night, you said something big would happen today. What did you mean?" Li Herman asked back, "Why do you care so much? Maybe I was just joking." Yi Fan's eyes were persistent. He believed in his intuition and said, "I don't think it's that simple." Li Herman also felt that Yi Fan, the male protagonist, was very special. He was different from Jian, Iron Man, and Harry Potter she had met before. Sure enough, traveling through a different world and interacting with different male protagonists is also a more interesting thing. Life is not just about work. So, guess what I said, that something big would happen. What do you think it would be? Sure enough, it was not a joke. Li Herman, this female classmate, was indeed a little special. Yi Fan looked back at the other classmates who were traveling around. There were 30 of them in total. There were 29 people in the original play, and there was one more Li Herman here, which was 30 people. Everyone was in a mighty and large-scale group. However, where there are many people, different small circles will inevitably be formed. Yi Fan was originally a loner. Now that he is with Li Herman, other students are curious but don't pay too much attention to him. After all, Yi Fan is not a star, and people don't pay too much attention to him. I can't guess. I always feel that you are very mysterious. Yi Fan still put the question on Li Herman. Yi Fan is different from ordinary people. Ordinary people think about how to get promoted and get a raise, how to get married and have children, how to buy a house and a car, etc. But Yi Fan pursues some supernatural existence. Therefore, the appearance of Li Herman undoubtedly lit a special light for Yi Fan's ordinary life. Calculating the time, it should be soon. Li Herman said, "Next, something may happen that subverts your cognition, but you don't need to be too surprised. You will feel normal after you get familiar with it. Yi Fan was a little nervous. What else do you know? Li Herman asked instead. Yi Fan, why don't you think I'm just joking? Why are you taking it so seriously? Yi Fan hesitated for a while, and seemed to want to understand this question. He was not sure. I don't know. My feeling tells me that you are not lying to me. In Yi Fan's eyes, Li Herman was already flawlessly beautiful. But in this tourist attraction of Fengchen, there are not only 30 people from their class reunion, but also many other tourists. However, everyone seemed to be blind and did not notice Li Herman's stunning beauty. Most of the time, women are not perfect. For example, when they are without makeup, sleeping, eating, and in a mess, they are all very ugly. When Yi Fan was with Li Herman, he did not notice that Li Herman was ugly at all. At any time and in any place, this Li Herman was so beautiful. Yi Fan was not a vulgar man who would fall in love with a beautiful girl without hesitation. However, other people around him did not notice this at all, which was too weird. Li Herman did not deny it and smiled. So, Yi Fan, your intuition is quite accurate. While talking, more than 30 old classmates also came to the top of the mountain. Li Herman was the first to feel something, and she looked at the endless sky. Yi Fan also looked along Li Herman's line of sight. Of course, at this time, Yi Fan was still immortal with his naked eyes. He could not see anything special except the blue sky and white clouds. What are you looking at? Li Herman smiled and said, 9 dragons pulling the coffin. Yi Fan was stunned. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 634 Pangbo joins the survival team. This word is undoubtedly unfamiliar to Yi Fan at the moment, but the shocking feeling that comes to people is very clear. Without waiting for Yi Fan to ask further, boom! Like a meteorite hitting the earth, a huge monster fell from the sky, smashing the mountain top of the Fengshan site into dense gullies. At this time, normal people around should first think of running away, but it is obvious that Yi Fan's college classmates are not normal people. Although they were all frightened, when they saw clearly that the object falling from the sky was 9 huge dragons, pulling a terrifying coffin, they all exclaimed, "What is that?" 9 big dragons pulling a huge coffin. Who will lie in the coffin? Everyone looked at each other, and no one could make up their minds for a while. After waiting for a while, seeing that there seemed to be no other abnormalities in the 9 dragons pulling the coffin, someone finally began to muster up the courage. Why don't we go down and take a look? It's really bold. Yi Fan's heart was extremely complicated. He was shocked and puzzled. He looked at Li Herman beside him and asked, "Is this the 9 dragons pulling coffin?" Li Herman nodded. "Is there any danger down there?" Yi Fan saw that all his classmates had gone down, and he really wanted to die. Li Herman nodded again. "Should I go down?" Yi Fan had been looking forward to the mysterious thing for a long time. Although it was dangerous, if he could find something, his ordinary life would not have too many regrets. "Let's get down together. If you encounter danger, try not to stay too far away from me." Although Li Herman was powerful, after all, he had come to a new world and should be low-key. The two went down together. The people who were worried just now were shocked when they observed the 9 dragons and the huge coffin. They felt that this class reunion trip was worthwhile. When Yi Fan was also curiously observing the carvings on the huge coffin, Li Herman was obviously different from everyone else. A system option pop-up window appeared in front of her. Option 1. Let everyone leave here and go back to a safe place. Completing the task rewards the exclusive attribute, Virgin Mary, +1. Option 2. Why not dance? At this time, ask everyone to dance next to the 9 dragons pulling coffin. Completing the task rewards the exclusive attribute, Dance, +1. Option 3. Activate the 5-color altar and let the 9 dragons pulling coffin start teleporting. Completing the task rewards the basic attribute +1. Although the 9 dragons pulling coffin is domineering, it is actually like a teleportation device, and each teleportation coordinate is the 5-color altar. There is this teleportation array on the top of the mountain in this Fengshan land. The original drama did not explain in detail how to activate the 5-color altar, but there is an option to activate it in the system task of choosing one out of 3. Lee Herman felt that in the world of the covering heaven, human life is like grass, and people who are killed do not need to be saved, so the Virgin Mary is not needed. Secondly, funny tasks such as dancing can also be automatically eliminated. The last thing is to activate the 5-color altar. Lee Herman began to study. Although she knows a lot of knowledge, it is her first time to study the 5-color altar of the 9 dragons pulling coffin in the covering heaven world. Fortunately, it is not too difficult. Soon it was successfully activated by Lee Herman. Lee Herman didn't want to be a saint, but she still shouted before activating the 5-color altar, "It's dangerous to stay here. If you don't want to die, leave here quickly." Lee Herman saw Yi Fan was about to leave, so she stopped him and asked, "Why are you leaving? Didn't you say that it's dangerous to stay here?" Lee Herman smiled and said, "Do you believe what I said so much?" Yi Fan nodded. "Just now you said there was a 9-dragon coffin. And it turned out to be true. You said there was a danger of life here, so it must be." As he spoke, the 9-dragon coffin flew up quickly under the activated 5-color altar. All the old classmates who stayed here were pulled away together. Lee Herman's reminder: in the end only one old classmate who was afraid of death left, and the rest of the people were afraid, but curiosity made them stay. "What's wrong? Why are these 9 dragons moving? Everyone stand firm." Everyone regretted it. Curiosity killed the cat. They should have left here long ago. Yi Fan was very nervous. He pulled Lee Herman aside and asked in a low voice, "What else do you know?" Lee Herman said to Yi Fan, "It's like you go to the cinema to watch a movie. If I spoil the plot in advance, it will be meaningless." Yi Fan was not stupid. After all, he was in his 20s and had graduated from college for many years. He retorted, "But you know a lot of things we don't know." Lee Herman said casually, "Because I am different from you." Yi Fan was a little flustered, but he couldn't help but feel a little reliance on Lee Herman. This female classmate is too mysterious. Finally, with a rumble, the 9 dragons pulled the coffin and stopped. Outside was a red desert, endless, and the day and night were reversed. It was obviously not on the earth. "Oh my God! Where are we here? I feel like I'm dreaming." Everyone went out to see the new world outside. Deep in his complicated heart, he was curious again. Yi Fan asked in a low voice, "Where is this?" Lee Herman smiled and said, "You can understand it as the ruins of the heavenly palace, the planet Mars." Yi Fan was shocked. "Have we really left the Earth?" Lee Herman said, "Yes, and, if nothing unexpected happens, you old classmates who love each other will become enemies in the next opportunities and dangers." "Yi Fan, you must be ruthless to survive." Yi Fan actually cared about Lee Herman. "What about you?" Lee Herman replied, "I can only protect myself at most. The life and death of others have nothing to do with me." Yi Fan nodded. "I understand." At this time, a loud voice suddenly called out from behind. Yi Fan looked back and said with some surprise, "Pangbo?" Pangbo is also Yi Fan's college classmate, and the two have a very good relationship, but Pangbo did not come yesterday. How come he suddenly appeared on Mars at this moment? Yi Fan looked at Lee Herman beside him. Lee Herman thought, "What are you looking at me for?" "Yi Fan, I wanted to call you a long time ago, but I saw that there is always a beautiful woman beside you, so I am embarrassed to disturb you." Pangbo looks a little honest and very strong, Yi Fan explained. "There is nothing between Lee Herman and me." "Lee Herman, are we college classmates?" "I don't seem to have any impression of her," Yi Fan asked back. "Pangbo, why did you suddenly appear here?" Is Pangbo, like Lee Herman, also a mysterious person? Since Yi Fan met Lee Herman, he found that the world has completely changed, and the peaceful life of more than 20 years has been completely broken. Pangbo explained, "I didn't finish my work yesterday, so I didn't come. Today, I heard that you were going to travel to Fengshan, so I hurried over. I didn't expect to encounter such a thing. It's amazing. I don't like people like Liu Yunzai and Li Qingquan, so I can only come to you." In Pangbo's view, even if he has to be a light bulb between Yi Fan and Lee Herman, it is better than being with those villains. "Well, We may encounter danger next. Yi Fan reminded Pangbo. Let's work together and survive together. Chapter 635, Flying Away from Earth. In the unknown area, everyone quickly formed several teams. Familiar people stayed with familiar people. It soon became dark on Mars. In the world where you can't see your hand in front of your face, you can see a dim light. Hermione rushed over first. Pangbo was shocked when he saw it. Yi Fan, your girlfriend is so fast. Is she an athlete? Yi Fan explained helplessly. I've said it before, she's not my girlfriend. Also, I warn you, don't offend her. Whether we can leave here alive depends on her. Pangbo didn't fully understand what Yi Fan meant. He said, it seems that Hermione is also a survival expert. The place Hermione found was an ancient temple, a lamp, a Buddha, a temple, and a tree. The Great Lin Temple, the ancient body tree, the ancient Buddha and the green lamp. In the ruins, there are many treasures, such as incense burners, rulers, copper bells, fish drums, etc. Hermione gave Yi Fan a long burning lamp she picked up. Yi Fan accepted it without hesitation. He now almost obeyed Hermione's words. Pangbo saw that he didn't have the special treatment like Yi Fan, so he could only go find the treasure by himself. Yi Fan, do you think this is really the legendary Great Lin Temple? Yi Fan shook his head. I don't know. The old classmates soon discovered this place, and they also began to look for treasures in the ruins. In the end, Pangbo could only carry the big bronze plaque out. This group of people was like bandits. Little did they know that their actions would bring them death. Danger is coming. When Hermione reminded him, Yi Fan heard the screams of old classmates. The classmates who didn't find the treasure died tragically on the ground immediately. When everyone found her, they found a big hole on her head. Dead. Oh my God. Before someone died, although everyone understood the danger here, they were not particularly afraid. At this moment, the first person died. Everyone immediately became like a frightened bird. Hermione was indifferent. She pointed to the distance and noticed Yi Fan. Yi Fan was also nervous. The old classmate who was still laughing together yesterday died tragically on Mars today. That is, 5-color altar. Hermione explained. Yi Fan understood immediately. Everyone, go over there. They were pulled here by the 9 dragons' coffin through this thing. If they go to the 5-color altar again, can they go back in the 9 dragons' coffin? Other old classmates also saw it. The dead just now gave them a huge scare. At this moment, they all ran over in panic to escape. Pangbo also followed Yi Fan and looked back. What is that? There is a hole in the head. How did he die? Hermione did not answer him. Yi Fan guessed. It doesn't look like a mechanism. According to ancient records, such ancient temples usually suppress big monsters. Maybe we alarmed the big monster, so we were killed. Pangbo nodded. There is some truth. The screams rang again, and another old classmate was attacked. This time the distance was very close, and it could be clearly seen that the old classmate died with his eyes open. Then, from the head of the dead, a small monster like a crocodile suddenly emerged. Yi Fan and Pangbo saw it with their own eyes, and both felt their scalps tingling. Don't look back, Hermione reminded them, but the two still looked back. They saw that the ground was densely packed with hundreds of these small monsters chasing them frantically. My God, what the hell is this? Although Pangbo was afraid, he saw this small crocodile chasing him and picked up the bronze plaque in his hand and smashed it. Don't say it. It's quite effective. It turns out that these monsters are afraid of these magic weapons, but those old classmates who didn't find the magic weapons were miserable, and soon screams were endless. After Yi Fan and Pangbo finally ran over and jumped into the huge coffin, there were still old classmates who wanted to snatch Yi Fan's magic weapons, because at this time, as long as the students who were not stupid knew that without magic weapons, they would only die in the mouth of crocodiles, and die miserably. The living people were pale, and at this time, they didn't care about etiquette and morality in order to survive. Little did they know that Yi Fan had also practiced, and the people who robbed, not only did not rob, instead, he slipped and fell, and was swallowed up by the dense crocodiles. Yi Fan, we are all classmates, you don't have to be so ruthless. The person who spoke was Lin Qingquan. Pang Bo angrily scolded. If Yi Fan hadn't defended it just now, he would have been the one who died. You are so great. Why don't you give your magic weapon to the students around you who don't have magic weapons? Pang Bo's words undoubtedly made the students around who didn't get magic weapons and were still alive immediately brighten their eyes. Nonsense. My magic weapon is what I use to save my life. Pang Bo, don't deliberately instigate. Lin Qingquan was also scared. At this time, everyone's nerves were very fragile in order to survive, and they could do anything under impulse. Yi Fan was too lazy to pay attention to these people. Human nature can't stand the test. Yi Fan looked at Hermione, who was intact. When he was escaping just now, Yi Fan clearly remembered that Hermione had no magic weapon to defend herself, but none of those crocodile-like monsters attacked Hermione. It was as if those little monsters were afraid of Hermione. How do we activate this 5-color altar? Hermione did not choose to take action this time, but said, gather all your magic weapons and you can successfully activate it. Yi Fan immediately told everyone this method. There were dense monsters outside. Although everyone did not dare to hand over their life-saving magic weapons, they all wanted to escape from this terrifying place as soon as possible. The magic weapon reacted with the 5-color altar under their feet, just like charging, and the energy of the magic weapon dimmed. But the teleportation array was successfully activated. The huge 9-dragon coffin took everyone away from here again, except for Hermione. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Hermione took some corpses of small crocodiles and planned to do research in the future. At this time, everyone who survived the disaster looked at each other. The terrifying monster crocodile ancestor that appeared in the original drama did not appear here. Because of Hermione's presence, they escaped much more smoothly and escaped before Crocodile Ancestor appeared. In fact, Crocodile Ancestor did not need to take action at all. Just those small crocodile monsters were enough to scare people to death. I have some food here. Yi Fan took out his precious food to thank Hermione for her help. In the current environment, water and food are very important. Hermione shook her head. No, I have it. Hermione is not hungry yet. In fact, she doesn't seem to do anything, but her soul perception has been feeling the subtle connection between the 5-color altar and the 9-dragon coffin. In Hermione's view, as long as there is an opportunity to learn, she will not let it go. As for this seemingly extremely dangerous escape, for her, it is not as important as learning. When everyone thought they were out of danger, strange things happened again. An old classmate suddenly died, and died miserably. It turned out that there was a little crocodile running in and drilling into the human body. Fortunately, everyone discovered it in time and used magic tools to kill the little crocodile. Only then can they finally rest assured temporarily. The 9-dragon coffin flew for a long time. Finally, it stopped in a wilderness. Everyone looked outside and suddenly felt cold in their hearts. Isn't it the earth? This is not the earth. Chapter 636. The slaves of the ancient forbidden land. The people who escaped death can also be regarded as traveling through time. Unlike Hermione's travel through time, they are not all people with great luck, nor do they have system binding. What is this place? The scenery here can no longer be explained by the knowledge on earth. The boulders and trees are like a country in mythology. We are not dead and have come to heaven. Hermione's foreign boyfriend Kate guessed. Don't talk nonsense. You are the one who died, Pang Bo said dissatisfiedly. He finally escaped and came to a place that looked like a fairyland. What death is not death? I'm so hungry. Let's find water and food. The living people began to think about solving the current problems. No one questioned it. Although everyone had escaped death, they still faced the problem of hunger. As a human being, you can never survive without things. Come here. Hermione suddenly spoke to Yi Fan. Yi Fan knew the specialness of Hermione, and he did not hesitate. Pang Bo also believed Yi Fan and followed him immediately. The rest of the old classmates had not discovered the specialness of Yi Fan and Hermione. They were with the people they knew and did not follow Yi Fan. Anyone with a little vision, as long as they followed Hermione and Yi Fan's team at this moment, the result would be much better. Walking on the road, Pang Bo reminded Yi Fan, I saw that Liu Yunzai and Lin Qingquan looked at us with a strange look in their eyes. We must be careful later. Don't be tricked by these two bad guys. If we were still on Earth, it would be fine if there were laws and order constraints. Now in this ghost place, human nature cannot stand the test. We must be on guard against others. Yi Fan said, don't worry, if they dare to make a small move, I will make them look good. Yi Fan is not a saint. In the original play, he was also ruthless to those who harmed him. It's a pity that the root of the trouble is left behind, and the root is not removed. Li Herman is different from Yi Fan and others. For Yi Fan and others, who accidentally came to the other world in the Nine Dragons' coffin, surviving is the most important thing. But for Li Herman, although it was her first time to travel through the world of the Great Ruler, she was no longer traveling just to survive. According to the system option prompt, Li Herman brought Yi Fan and others to the 9 wonderful immortal medicine. There are 9 kinds of this medicine, each on 9 mountains. This is just one of them at the moment. The red fruit exudes a mouth-watering smell. In the original play, it was Yi Fan and Pang Bo who encountered it by chance. Here, with Li Herman's guidance, it is naturally much smoother to find it. Of course, Li Herman also relies on the prompts of the system task. Otherwise, it is not easy to find this wonderful medicine in this ancient forbidden land. What is this? Li Herman took the lead in picking some and storing them. She was not in a hurry to eat them. She wanted to try whether her current ability could stop the restriction of the ancient forbidden land. However, after Yi Fan and Pang Bo ate them, their bodies became strong and energetic. Li Herman also chose to eat too. There is no need to take risks. You still have to eat. Let's go back. Pang Bo wanted to ask if he should bring some of this fruit to other old classmates, but considering that Li Herman brought them here to get it, it's better not to be nosy. I still have some water here. You can drink some. Li Herman didn't know whether the other water here was drinkable or not. Without triggering the relevant system option task, she still took 2 bottles of mineral water for Yi Fan and Pang Bo to drink. Thank you. Pang Bo happily took it and drank half a bottle in one gulp. Yi Fan also thanked him, and he drank more politely. After gathering with everyone, they found that Liu Yunzai and Li Qingquan had not returned and disappeared directly. Should we continue to wait for them? Do you know where this place is? Waiting for them, you will lose your life. When Li Herman took Yi Fan and Pang Bo to eat the magic pill, the others also found the stone tablet of this land and realized that this place was called Ancient Forbidden Land. The name sounds creepy. Li Herman was also a little puzzled. In the original play, Li Qingquan and Liu Yunzai appeared as villains in the early stage. They should have continued to make trouble and confront Yi Fan and Pang Bo. Why did they suddenly disappear? It seems that the changes here are quite big. Everyone waited for a while and finally decided to set off. Li Herman also took out some biscuits and gave them to Yi Fan, asking him to share them with everyone. Pang Bo knew that Li Herman still had that kind of red fruit. He wondered why Li Herman didn't share that kind of fruit with everyone. After all, compared with wild fruits and biscuits, at this time, Pang Bo thought that biscuits were more important. Suddenly, without Li Qingquan and Liu Yunzai making trouble, everyone was much smoother. Be careful. Oh my god, what is that? They saw giant beasts, several people tall and strange monsters. Everyone held their breath, and at this moment they understood the horror of the ancient forbidden land. Yi Fan asked Li Herman in a low voice. How should we get out? Li Herman asked with a teasing smile. Why are you in a hurry to get out? Do you naively think that it is safer outside than inside? Yi Fan forgot to think for a while because of Li Herman's special words. Li Herman really knows something. Yi Fan even suspected that the 9 dragons pulling coffin, going to Mars, and then to the ancient forbidden land were all arranged by her. However, Li Herman did not explain much. Perhaps it was because she revealed too much to Yi Fan that the plot here began to be different from the original drama. Li Herman did not like this unpredictable feeling. As a time traveler, she still liked the sense of control as a prophet who could know everything. Unknown means uncontrollable. The sudden disappearance of Li Qingquan and Liu Yunzai is the best example. Li Herman could not even find them out of the ancient forbidden land. If the story here is exactly the same as in the original drama, then the life and death of Li Qingquan and Liu Yunzai can be completely controlled by Li Herman. Therefore, next, Li Herman did not intend to reveal too much to Yi Fan. Yi Fan saw that Li Herman continued to pretend to be mysterious, and he did not make himself look bad. No matter what Li Herman's purpose was, at least she was helping Yi Fan, and there was no need to ask questions about the mysterious person. Did we go the wrong way? After walking for a long time, everyone found that they were still in the deserted mountains. I don't know, we have no choice now, we can only go all the way, and we can always get out if we persist. Everyone could only comfort them in this way. Until this moment, the old classmates who had fantasies thought that they were still somewhere on the earth, waiting for the rescue team to come to rescue them by helicopter. After walking for a long time, they heard the sound of a huge iron chain. The sound was very scary. Although everyone knew the danger, they still couldn't help but go over to check. This look shocked everyone again. They saw a giant like a beast, tied up with hundreds of meters of iron chains, and every time the giant hit a huge bronze coffin. This scene was too weird. Everyone was scared and left quickly. Until they left that place completely, Yi Fan couldn't help asking Li Herman again, "What is that?" "A person tied up with iron chains." Li Herman's answer undoubtedly made Yi Fan laugh and cry. However, Li Herman still added one more sentence: "The slaves of the wilderness, the slaves of the ancient forbidden land." Chapter 637, The Immortal Palace of the Ruthless Emperor. The name of the desert slaves is indeed very appropriate for the scene just seen. Yi Fan was shocked. He no longer had any illusions. Here, the ancient forbidden land is definitely not on Earth. They came to another world in the coffin pulled by 9 dragons. A world full of mystery and danger like Li Hermione. After crossing a mountain, what awaits them will be a more magical and weird scene. Even Li Hermione is not immune. In fact, Li Hermione has felt the terrible order of rules since she stepped into this land. This is the highest power of law. Li Hermione has 2 infinite gems and advanced magic, which can resist. But she has taken the 9 Wonders Immortal Elixir, and she thinks it is better to follow the local customs and not resist. With the invasion of the power of law, the body obviously feels strange. I hurt so much. My body, my flesh and blood are like countless ants biting. I feel like there is a fire burning inside my body. Who will save me? The sudden screams came one after another, which shocked Yi Fan and Pangbo. They ... What happened to them? My body is also a little strange, but it's not as painful as theirs. Yi Fan suddenly looked at Li Herman. Li Herman just said a simple sentence. Ancient forbidden land. Do you think this is a tourist attraction? The pain overwhelmed everyone, including Yi Fan and Pangbo. They all fainted. Only Li Herman, even if she didn't resist the damage of this law, she could withstand it. I didn't expect that I'm so powerful. Even the ancient forbidden land can't do anything to me. However, Li Herman didn't take it lightly. She took out the 9 Wonders Immortal Medicine, washed it, and continued to eat it, until the destruction of the law began to end. Li Herman accidentally picked up a good thing. Her chance was 10% better than that of ordinary people, and it was common for her to pick up good things. Often because she forgot to pick it up, it appeared in her pocket the next day. This also made Li Herman develop a good habit of picking up things at will. In the ancient forbidden land, there are many herbs. In the world of the gods, there is no perfect alchemist system like in the world of battles, and many herbs are swallowed raw. But it is obvious that Li Herman is a person with rich cultural knowledge. Although the herbs in the 2 worlds are different, but Li Herman has won the Herbal Encyclopedia awarded by the system. The system rewards do not only contain the knowledge in one world. Li Herman recognized this herb, which is very precious and can have the effect of flesh and bones. Li Herman immediately collected it. When Yi Fan and Pangbo woke up, they were stunned. They saw that their clothes were all 1 size bigger. After looking at each other carefully, they exclaimed that it was not that their clothes were bigger, but that their bodies had become smaller. Both of them became 11 or 12 years old. Li Herman, Yi Fan called the beautiful woman to know her situation. Because Li Herman chose not to resist this law of time, she eventually became a little girl of 11 or 12 years old, just like Yi Fan and Pangbo. However, Li Herman was knowledgeable and she could change back through advanced magic. There is no need. Just live in the world of the heaven-shading girl as an 11-12-year-old girl. Lee Herman, what happened? Lee Herman's voice became crisp, and she said, don't panic first, go and see other old classmates, and you will be glad. At this time, look at the other classmates. They are all gray-haired and have become old people. Zhu Yi, Wang Ziwen, Lin Jia, Li Ziyaman, too weird, too mysterious. Yi Fan, Pang Bo and Lee Herman have all become smaller, while the other old classmates have all become older. Oh my god, how could I become like this? I don't want to live anymore. The male classmates are better, but the female classmates are already living a life worse than death. The young face of the woman suddenly became as old as an old woman. The situation at the scene was so weird and miserable. Among them, Zhang Ziling's situation was slightly better. He now looked like he was in his 40s, much better than those in their 70s and 80s. But when they saw that Yi Fan and Pang Bo had turned into children, they were immediately unhappy. How could this happen? Yi Fan, Pang Bo, is it because our lives were absorbed by you that we became older, while you became younger? Pang Bo glanced at the mysterious Lee Herman on the side. Obviously, Lee Herman had also become smaller, so why didn't everyone bother her, but instead stared at him and Yi Fan? Don't get excited. First of all, we don't know what's going on. Don't guess. We are all old classmates. We came here together. No one is a god or ghost, and we don't have that much power. After much persuasion, everyone calmed down a little. However, those female classmates were still as disappointed as death. Yi Fan finally got some free time, came to Lee Herman and told him his guess. Is it related to the special fruit you took Pang Bo and me to eat? Smart, worthy of being the male protagonist. However, Lee Herman didn't explain, but just looked at Yi Fan meaningfully and said, these are all opportunities and fate, don't pursue them too much. Yi Fan understood. When he noticed that Lee Herman seemed to be looking at a place in the sky again, she suddenly changed from an 18-year-old young girl to a cute and beautiful little girl of 11 or 12 years old. Her long eyelashes and crystal-clear eyes made Yi Fan feel a little uncomfortable. What are you looking at? Is the 9 dragons pulling coffin here again? Yi Fan was originally afraid of the 9 dragons pulling coffin, because it was this thing that brought them to this ghost place, and they experienced all kinds of dangers along the way and narrowly escaped death. However, now he hopes that the 9 dragons pulling coffin can take them away from here. The ancient Forbidden Land is not a place for humans to live after all. The fairy palace. There is a fairy palace there, Lee Herman answered in a crisp voice. Pang Bo also looked over. As expected, he saw it too, and he rubbed his eyes. It's really weird. This place is so scary. Yi Fan looked at the illusory fairy palace in the sky, and his heart was also extremely shocked. Because of Lee Herman, he knew more than other old classmates. The ancient Forbidden Land, the slaves of the wilderness, rejuvenation, the fairy palace, everything here is unimaginable. Could it be a mirage? Pang Bo was still reluctant to see the legendary palace. Could it be that this is really where the immortals lived? Pang Bo's last bit of will still hoped to be able to explain it through science. If it was a mirage, then it would be easy to explain. It was a kind of refraction of water vapor. The sky was like a mirror, reflecting the buildings and houses in another place on the ground into the air. Because it looked blurry, it was a mirage. Generally, it appears more in the sea and the desert. Lee Herman smiled and did not refute. Yi Fan was shocked and could not speak for a long time. Pang Bo found that he was not treated as well as Yi Fan. If Yi Fan asked, Lee Herman would probably answer, but if he raised questions, most of them would fall into the sea without any splash. Others also saw it. Although they have become gray-haired, they can still see. Strange. I remember there was no such thing in the sky at first. How come a fairy palace suddenly appeared? A female classmate immediately thought of something and said anxiously, let's go to the fairy palace quickly. There must be a panacea that can cure us. Chapter 638 7 Live Forbidden Zones. For those who have lost their beauty and lives, being able to recover is simply a dream. But soon someone appeared to break their fantasy. When that person came, he flew on a sword, very cool and unrestrained. At the border of this ancient Forbidden Land, He was really like a fairy. That extraordinary temperament would definitely kill everyone in seconds. Only Li Hermione could surpass this fairy. Of course, Li Hermione was so low-key that everyone would ignore her, except for Yi Fan. He secretly compared Li Hermione with the fairy who suddenly appeared. You can actually come out of the ancient forbidden land alive? The fairy seemed a little surprised. Those who had their time and beauty taken away immediately rushed over, hoping to be treated by the fairy. The fairy who called herself YY shook her head and said, "My current magic power cannot save you. But when you enter the sect, there should be masters who can help you." With YY's explanation, the horror of the ancient forbidden land was also unveiled. This is an extremely terrifying place, known as one of the 7 forbidden areas for life. Countless people have died here. If you see a madman tied up with iron chains, he is probably the genius who broke in that year and has now become a slave. Although YY is dressed in fairy clothes and has a noble temperament, she has a gentle personality and answers everyone's questions. She also uses the secret technique of flying to help everyone leave this place together. Everyone is grateful and understands how lucky they are to be able to come out alive from the ancient forbidden land. Finally out, everyone looked at the new world, and at that moment, it seemed as if they had been reborn, and waiting for them will be new problems. In the continent of Zacian, it is divided into Dongwang, Zimo, Nanling, Beiyuan and Zhangzhou. Each place is very vast. The ancient forbidden land is located in the eastern Yan Kingdom, where there are 6 cave heavens and blessed lands, and the force where YY is called Lingxidongshan. In addition, there are 2 forces in Tongshan blessed land who want to accept these people as disciples. They say they are disciples, but in fact they want to take them back for research. After all, it was a treasure that had come out alive from the ancient forbidden land, and it was worth exploring. The people from Muting Cave Heaven and Jinxia Cave Heaven even fought each other. Of course, everyone stopped at a certain point and learned from each other, but that move was a fairy method, which really stunned everyone. Oh my god, although we encountered danger along the way, there are really fairies in this world. It's incredible. Everyone talked in a low voice. Although they hadn't figured out everything yet, the current scene was enough to shock everyone for a long time. However, the outcome after the fight was also unexpected. YY is the youngest among the 3 Tongshan foodie forces, but she is the strongest. Therefore, Lingxia Cave Heaven where she is located has the opportunity to select disciples first. Of course, even if YY is not the strongest, these people are all brought up by her, and this alone has the right to speak first. Although the people from Jinxia Cave Heaven and Yuding Cave Heaven are not as skilled as others, they did not get angry. They all praised YY's young genius and her future is limitless. Li Hermione suddenly saw several old men looking at Yi Fan. They couldn't see through Li Hermione, so they couldn't estimate how scary Li Hermione was. However, Yi Fan's breath was easily detected, so Li Hermione reminded him first, "In a while, those old immortals will definitely make a fuss about your special physique." Yi Fan was just startled by the people from the several cave paradises, and some of them forgot about the little girl Li Hermione beside him. At this time, Li Hermione suddenly spoke to him, and Yi Fan remembered. Then he was very strange. Li Hermione was definitely the most special one among them, but some so-called immortals in front of him didn't notice the abnormality at all. Could it be that Li Hermione hid too well? Or that Li Hermione's real strength was actually above these people? Because Yi Fan knew that the ancient forbidden land was a life-restricted area in the mouths of the 3 cave paradises, and intruders would die. However, Li Hermione was in it as if she was in her own backyard. Anything that happened along the way, whether it was the 9 dragons pulling the coffin, being attacked by the crocodile monster, or falling into the ancient forbidden land, Li Hermione didn't show any surprise. As expected, as soon as Li Hermione finished speaking, an old man immediately came to Yi Fan. He grabbed Yi Fan and looked him up and down, then said in surprise, "Genius, genius, it's the rare ancient holy body that only appears once in 1,000 years." As soon as these words fell, the forces of the cave paradise present were jealous. In the world of the sky, blood and physique are important. If you have special blood and physique, if nothing unexpected happens, your future achievements will be super awesome. Therefore, Yi Fan, who has the ancient holy body, naturally became the focus of everyone. Even though Li Herman had reminded Yi Fan in advance, he was still shocked at this moment. I didn't expect his physique to be so powerful. So, is this the reason why Li Herman mysteriously appeared beside him? Yi Fan is not stupid. There are so many old classmates, and he is not handsome enough to attract mysterious opposite sex for no reason. So there is a reason why Li Herman focuses on him and ignores others. Yi Fan himself did not realize that, compared to the several blessed places and his own special physique, Yi Fan was more concerned about why Hermione appeared beside him. Old classmates also cast envious eyes. This Yi Fan and Pang Bo not only rejuvenated and became smaller, but also obtained the physique that the immortals exclaimed. This is really lucky. In the future, they must become immortals. I don't know if it's too late to start hugging thighs now. Everyone was in a complicated mood, but then, Yi Fan was immediately beaten to the bottom from a high-ranking genius. Although this kid has a rare ancient holy body in 1,000 years, this is a body before the ancient times. Now this kind of physique can't be cultivated at all. So, it's a waste physique. Damn it. Pang Bo was unwilling. You old man, although you are an immortal, you can't play with other people's feelings like this. If it weren't for the fact that the other party was too strong, Pang Bo would have rushed up to defend brother Yi Fan. An extremely dramatic scene appeared. Yi Fan, who had just become a popular figure, became a dog-ignored existence in less than a few minutes. It is an indisputable fact in this world that the ancient holy body cannot be cultivated. Everyone knows it. The three great blessed places began to distribute these people. There were 13 people in total, and Yi Fan was in an awkward situation where no one wanted him. Li Herman was fine. Lin Qingquan first selected Pang Bo and Li Herman. However, everyone's attitude towards Li Herman was very strange. Everyone seemed to ignore her intentionally or unintentionally, although she seemed to be as valuable as Pang Bo. The attention she received was never increased. Yi Fan finally entered Lin Qingquan, and the old classmates who had been together finally had to separate. Everyone said goodbye to each other. Several female classmates comforted Yi Fan before leaving, saying that even if the ancient holy body could not be cultivated, it was nothing. Everyone was originally immortal who traveled through time and space, and the worst thing was to continue to be immortal. Yi Fan did not have much pressure, and he said that there was no problem. Compared to everyone else, Yi Fan has been paying more attention to Li Herman. When he saw that there was almost no ripple in Li Herman's eyes regarding his ancient holy body, he understood that there was hope. Chapter 639, The Elder of Link's Cave Heaven. Because of the appearance of Li Herman, the pressure on the protagonists in the original drama was reduced sharply. Li Herman's mystery and calmness undoubtedly gave Yi Fan a great sense of security. When you are in doubt, just look at Li Herman. The ancient holy body is considered a waste physique in the eyes of the major caves and blessed places, but it is obvious that Li Herman is very indifferent in comparison. Yi Fan plans to ask her privately. The separation of old classmates is still very sad. After all, it is not easy to come here, and no one knows what the future will be like. Take care. Coming to Link's Cave Heaven, it is worthy of being one of the 6 major caves and blessed places in Yen State. Li Herman can smell the abundant spiritual energy from a distance. Practicing here will achieve twice the result with half the effort. Yi Fan and Pang Bo worked together and were soon arranged to a mountain. The food here is also relatively light, but fortunately, they can finally live a peaceful life for the time being. The displacement and dangers encountered in the past few days really made everyone nervous. Of course, Li Herman is not included. Li Herman has a low sense of existence. Of course, this is for others. Just like in a class, there will always be 1 or 2 students who are ignored by everyone. However, they live a rich life in their own world. Li Herman is also very busy. She has been completing various optional tasks. There is a saying, when you stand on the top of a giant mountain, all the roads in front of you will become flat. No bragging. It is much easier for Li Herman to complete the optional tasks now than before, and her current accumulation has also successfully improved the attributes of her second set of inscriptions: Fighting Spirit plus 91, Alchemy plus 82, After reaching 100, Li Hemin will consider improving the attributes of the third set of inscriptions. There is no doubt that the attributes of the third set of inscriptions must be related to this world of the legend of the great saint, because the cultivation method and the required attribute points in the world of the legend of the great saint are different. Simple explanation: the world of Harry Potter and the world of Marvel are actually similar, with magic, strength and defense as the mainstream. In fighting heaven, although magic, strength and defense can still be used, we have to take into account Li Hemin's personality. She is a person who likes to learn and is willing to learn more and use more. Therefore, natural fighting spirit and alchemy are necessarily proficient. Fighting spirit is not very useful in the world of the heaven covering, and there are too many skills that can be replaced. However, the alchemy skills are unique. Because of this knowledge, Li Hemin can collect many precious herbs in the ancient Forbidden Land, store them, and wait for them to be of great use in the future. As night fell, Yi Fan finally had time to find Li Hemin. Li Hemin seemed to have expected Yi Fan to come to her, so she took the initiative to ask, "What do you want to ask?" Yi Fan didn't say much, and said bluntly, "I want to know if my body can be cultivated." Li Hemin was rarely interested. While looking at the sky, she asked, "Do you still want to become an immortal?" Yi Fan did not hide it. "If there is such an opportunity, I naturally don't want to give up," Li Hemin said. "In fact, you already have the answer in your heart, don't you? Be firm, you think of the correct answer." Li Hemin said again, "Rules are meant to be broken, and the one who breaks them, why can't it be you?" Li Hemin's words made Yi Fan think for a long time. Sure enough, as long as there are problems and difficulties, you can talk to Li Herman and you will definitely get the answers you want. The next day, Wu Qingfeng, the elder of Lin Qingquan, came. He looked like an immortal and was not an ordinary old man. He looked at Yi Fan and shook his head and sighed. Although the ancient holy body has a loud name, it is actually worse than ordinary cultivators. This Yi Fan looks like a good seedling. What a pity. The elders of Lin Qingquan can only pin their hopes on Pangbo. As for Li Herman, for some reason, it is difficult for Elder Wu Qingfeng to focus on her. It seems that she is born like the flowers, plants and trees around her. Although special, she is easy to be ignored. Under the teaching of Elder Wu Qingfeng, several people understand the basic cultivation methods of this world of Zishan, including Li Herman. Although she is already a master among masters in other worlds, she has to start from scratch to understand the cultivation system of this world of Zishan, the secret realm of Lunhai, the Sea of Suffering, the Spring of Life, the Bridge of Gods, and the other shore. Elder Wu Qingfeng knew that the two were just beginners, so he only said this. Li Hemin sounded very modest about the knowledge she didn't know. Li Hemin studied the knowledge points she didn't know very seriously, from feeling the wheel of life, to guiding the flow of essence, then opening up the sea of suffering, and finally releasing the source of divine power. This process took Pangbo several months. And Yi Fan, because he was an ancient holy body, has not made any movement so far. As for Li Hemin, she didn't know how others did it, but she only took 1 minute. That's right, 1 minute. Elder Wu Qingfeng said it once, and Li Hemin understood it. Then, after a little operation, the Sea of Suffering was opened. However, Li Hemin didn't expose it. There was no need. At this level, even if it was extremely fast, it was still weak. The time of cultivation always passed very quickly. Li Hemin naturally used the skills she learned secretly, and during this period, her cultivation level improved rapidly. Yi Fan was very anxious, but Li Hemin never helped him feel the wheel of life. Instead, Yi Fan accidentally increased his strength a lot, and his body's jumping ability became amazing. For beginners, they practice the Tao Sutra, and if they want to open up the Sea of Suffering, they can take a small bottle of liquid medicine. This is similar to the elixir in Du Po Kang Qian. Yi Fan, Li Herman and Pangbo can all get a small bottle. Yi Fan tasted it and drank it in one gulp, but his body did not react at all. Although Pangbo felt something, it was not very obvious. Li Herman was not in a hurry to drink it. She waited until the evening, took it out to study it, and cracked the secret of the liquid medicine. Then she could make it herself. At that time, she would drink it as a beverage. During the day, There were also elders from Ling Sudangshan preaching in Ling Cliff, and junior disciples could go and listen. Those who had questions could also ask questions. Hermione learned very quickly, and her questions were beyond the level of ordinary disciples, so she did not ask in public. The main reason was that Hermione was worried that if these elders could not answer, it would be a bit embarrassing. The first few months were relatively peaceful, but Yi Fan was the protagonist of the story of the great ruler. If there were no conflicts and unpleasantness in him, it would not be a story. On this day, Link's Cave Heaven distributed liquid medicine as usual. The name of this liquid medicine is Bicao liquid. Several people aged 15 or 16 came to make trouble. They came up to snatch it. Although Yi Fan and Pang Bo looked 11 or 12 years old, they followed Hermione and were both people who had obtained opportunities, with infinite strength. The troublemakers not only failed to get any benefits, but were taught a lesson by Yi Fan and Pang Bo. Hermione was watching from the side. She chose to be a spectator. If she had to take action for such a small fight, then she, the goddess, would be too worthless. After the little bastards were taught a lesson, a big bastard in his 20s jumped out. His name was Han Fiu. This kid was not a good thing. His uncle was Elder Han, who had some power in Link's Cave Heaven. Most disciples didn't dare to provoke him, and the little bastard who wanted to snatch the Bicao liquid from Yi Fan and Pang Bo just now was instructed by this Han Fiu. Chapter 640 Yi Fan and Pang Bo show their power. This Han Fiu is quite capable. The little jerk just arranged as just an appetizer. There are 4 young men behind him. People with backgrounds can get a good meal anywhere. These 4 are completely different from the people of the same age as Yi Fan and Pang Bo who wanted to snatch the 100-herb liquid. They are all cultivators who have opened up the sea of suffering. For a beginner disciple, they are already very powerful. As for Hermione, although she is with Yi Fan and Pang Bo, she is automatically ignored by everyone most of the time. It's just because Hermione's ability is too strong. Just now, Yi Fan and Pang Bo fought against the little jerk who was looking for trouble, and these 4 people who opened up the sea of suffering saw it. They knew that these 2 people were extremely powerful, but they had not yet opened up the sea of suffering, commonly known as the difference between immortals and mortals. Naturally, they did not take Yi Fan and Pang Bo seriously, and mocked them in various ways, asking Yi Fan and Pang Bo to bow their heads and admit their mistakes. Many onlookers have gathered around. However, it is impossible to expect a cultivator who sees injustice on the road. In the world of covering the sky, it is also the law of the jungle, which is extremely cruel. It was those bastards who came to cause trouble, but Yi Fan and Pang Bo had to admit their mistakes. You can't bully people like this. Yi Fan and Pang Bo certainly couldn't stand this tone, so they fought back. The war was about to break out, and since they couldn't reach an agreement, they had to fight. The 4 people thought they were superior because they opened up the sea of suffering, so they directly released the divine pattern. This divine pattern was not simple, like a chain, bursting out from the sea of suffering, and was extremely hard. It was no longer a mortal's means. Yi Fan and Pang Bo didn't dare to be careless, and picked up the huge rock next to them and smashed it. For a while, there was a rumbling sound, and the huge rock was actually shattered. Ha ha ha, a trivial trick. Yi Fan, Pang Bo, if you 2 kneel down and beg for mercy now, we might be able to let you go. Hermione, who was watching the battle on the side, was speechless after hearing this. These villains like to make others kneel down and beg for mercy, which is boring. Kneel down on your grandmother. Pang Bo also had a bad temper. Although he didn't have the luck of Yi Fan, he was also smart. Only in front of Hermione did he seem a little honest. He immediately discovered the shortcomings of the 4 people who opened up the sea of suffering. Although their divine patterns were powerful and domineering, their bodies were still not that strong. Pang Bo rushed quickly, like a tiger coming down the mountain. His strong physique made him look very imposing, and the effect Pang Bo showed was also great. One collision and one sweeping leg directly knocked down 2 people. Pang Bo, you are a new disciple. How dare you hit me? Pang Bo turned around and punched the man who was talking, and the front teeth flew out. I'm hitting you, you bastard. It can be seen that before he came to the world of covering the sky with the coffin of the 9 dragons, this Pang Bo was a little expert in fighting. Yi Fan was not bad either. He looked back at Hermione, and then he was more vigorous than Pangbo and knocked down the other two with 3 punches and 2 kicks. I don't know if it's because they took into account the presence of the Lady Hermione, so their means of beating people were not as fancy as in the original drama, and they also threw their defeated subordinates into the mud of the lotus pond, with onions stuck upside down. But even so, the degree of shame of the 4 people was enough to make them gnashing their teeth at Yi Fan and Pangbo. Stop it! Han Fi couldn't stand it anymore, and decided to teach Yi Fan and Pangbo a lesson himself. Don't go too far. These words made Yi Fan and Pangbo furious at the same time. We went too far? You guys are really good at talking, assholes. Han Fi still maintained his arrogance and said, you claim to have some ability, but you dare not be afraid of me. Han Fi, today I will let you see how to take the regret medicine. Han Fi took action. This guy really has some skills. With one move, the divine pattern and the magic weapon King Wasil attacked at the same time. With the divine pattern entangled, he alone was enough to match the 4 people just now. The magic weapon King Wasil was even more amazing. It would grow wildly when it encountered wind, and soon it pressed down on Yi Fan and Pangbo at the same time. It was the first time for the two to see this kind of attack. Just as they were about to avoid it, they were hit by Han Fi's divine pattern. Ha ha ha, let's see how you 2 bastards are going to escape next. Han Fi felt that he had won. This time he was going to make Yi Fan and Pangbo pay for it. However, he ignored Li Herman. Of course, in the original drama, even without Li Herman, Yi Fan and Pangbo were not seriously injured, and they successfully beat Han Fi into a pig's head. Option 1. Han Fi was too pitiful. The 2 groups of people he brought were dealt with. Help him and beat Yi Fan and Pangbo down. Complete the task to reward the exclusive attribute, Villain, +1. Option 2. Villains should be dealt with. Uphold justice, and defeat evil. Completing the task will reward you with exclusive attribute, Justice, +1. Option 3. Attacking in secret, causing Han Fi to lose. Completing the task will reward you with basic attribute +1. If that's the case, then the outcome facing Han Fi will be even worse. A stone, with a force that shouldn't have appeared in this world, attacked Han Fi with one blow. Han Fi was able to gain the upper hand in a 1-on-2 situation, which should have been a very powerful thing. However, he couldn't be proud of it for long. The sudden pain from his waist almost suffocated him. What's going on? Han Fi couldn't find the reason, but the situation of the battle changed dramatically because of this moment. Boom! Yi Fan and Pangbo burst into blood and rushed over. For them, fighting against Han Fi, a long-range attack is absolutely impossible. The only way is to attack, relying on the chaotic punching method. Han Fi was exhausted and defeated here. I never thought that Han Fi was really powerful. He could actually mobilize the mysterious skills and condense a defensive gas shield. Yi Fan and Pangbo's attacks were indeed fierce, but they did not hurt Han Fi. Han Fi did not feel proud for long, and Li Herman's secret attack came again. It was another inconspicuous stone. It hit Han Fi in the same place. The pain made Han Fi lose consciousness for a while. Yi Fan and Pangbo did not know what was wrong with Han Fi. At the critical moment of the battle, he was so careless. But it was good that way. Yi Fan and Pangbo attacked at the same time, and a punch hit Han Fi's cheek. Han Fi was angry and furious, but he had no way to do anything. What was waiting for him was Yi Fan and Pangbo's dense fists and kicks. Crackling. Han Fi had never been beaten so hard in his life. You 2 little bastards dare to hit me? My uncle is the elder of Lin Qingquan. When ordinary disciples heard this threat, they would definitely be cautious and dare not mess around. But Yi Fan and Pangbo are different. They have survived a life-threatening situation and traveled through time in the 9 Dragons' coffin. They will not suffer such humiliation here. This Han Fi deserves to be beaten. Yi Fan and Pangbo fought until their hands and feet were sore and tired. The onlookers were stunned, thinking that this Yi Fan and Pangbo were too fierce. They could even defeat Han Fi. At this time, senior brother Li and senior sister Wang Jing, who were patrolling, came late. Hurry up and save me. This Yi Fan and Pangbo are bullying me. Han Fi lost his arrogance just now, but he saw hope. However, He is not very popular on weekdays. At this moment, senior brother Li and senior sister Wang Jing did not intend to stand up for Han Fiu, but said coldly, "We all saw what you did just now, Han Fiu, you deserve this fate." If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 641, Ancient Temple in the Lava. This is impossible. Even though senior brother Li and senior sister Wang Jing were not interested in Han Fiu, they were acquaintances after all. How could they openly oppose themselves for two new disciples? Even though they hated their usual behavior, Han Fiu was backed by Elder Han of Lin Qingyun. Don't look at the monk's face, look at the Buddha's face. As if seeing the unbelievable look in Han Fiu's eyes, senior brother Li explained, "Han Fiu, do you know that among the two people you are going to teach a lesson today, Pangbo is a fairy seedling?" "Fairy seedling? This is impossible!" Han Fiu showed an unbelievable look. Fairy seedlings represent the existence that Lin Qingyun will focus on cultivating. Even a person with connections like Han Fiu cannot be easily offended. At this moment, Han Fiu finally understood why senior brother Li and senior sister Wang Jing favored these two newcomers. Seeing Han Fiu, who was beaten into a pig's head and looked ashen, Yifan and Pangbo felt very satisfied. Doesn't this guy want to bully people by relying on his connections? You are speechless now. Today's battle did not attract the attention of the elders of Lin Qingyun. Perhaps in the eyes of the elders, this is just a sparring between the younger generations. The Zanshan continent is extremely dangerous. Without the ability to rely on oneself, it is very easy to die tragically. Sometimes the sect will let the disciples compete with each other to improve their combat effectiveness. However, this battle, Yifan and Pangbo also gained a lot. The two of them took revenge and took all the Bacao liquid of Han Fiu and others for themselves. Even if they did so, Lin Qingyun still let it go. The law of the jungle can be seen. In other words, if Yifan and Pangbo were defeated today, and the people who confiscated their items were Han Fiu and others, Lin Qingyun would also let it go. The strong are respected. The night gradually enveloped the earth, and Yifan came to Hermione and expressed his concerns. "I feel that it is no longer meaningful for me to stay in Lingsu Cave Heaven." Hermione asked with a smile, "Do you want to venture out into the outside world?" Yifan nodded, "And I feel that Han Fiu is not simple-minded for causing trouble during the day. If I continue to stay here, my life may be in danger." Hermione looked at her system options, and then said to Yifan, "Don't leave in a hurry. Elder Wu Qingfeng will lead the team to the ruins for training in a few days. You can go and try your luck." Most people would have many doubts after hearing this, but Yifan nodded and agreed immediately. A few days later, Elder Wu Qingfeng led the team to train. Elder Wu Qingfeng has a close relationship with Yifan and Pangbo. It is natural that he can be at ease when he leads the team. Pangbo, as a fairy seedling, can naturally be taken care of. Yifan is not qualified, but he can also make an exception and go with him. Hermione is still the same. She is involved in everything, but she is always forgotten by everyone. The training naturally represents thrills and excitement. Along the way, I encountered colorful pythons, poisonous dragons, scaly apes, lightning birds, etc. Of course, there are also various herbs such as dragon tongue grass and green dragon vine. Until I met Han Fiu again. This time Han Fiu learned to be smart and no longer brought his younger brothers, but followed several senior brothers and sisters. Among them, senior sister Li Lin and senior brother Li Yun are most familiar with Han Fiu, and they are more targeted at Yifan and Pangbo. Ignore them. Although Pangbo didn't like it, it was not easy to go up and fight directly. If he couldn't beat him, he would be embarrassed. Along the way, Pangbo also comforted Yifan and Hermione. Elder Wu Qingfeng was his teacher. The teacher said that there are many young disciples in Lin Qingyun for training. Although there are many dangers in the ruins, It will not be a big problem if you are careful. Li Hemin looked at Yifan, but she didn't think so. Where there is a male protagonist, do you still want to pass safely? Don't dream. Yifan also looked at Li Hemin. He was thinking about what new hints Li Hemin would give. However, Li Herman did not speak. The three of them went on an adventure together. During this period, Li Herman picked the most herbs, many of which were unknown to Pangbo and Yifan. However, in the eyes of the two, Li Herman was an extremely mysterious woman, so it was not easy to ask too much. Until the enemies met on a narrow road, Yifan, Pangbo, and Li Herman met Hanfu and others again. Their team members were not small. Don't alarm them. Li Herman looked at the newly triggered system option task. Option 1. Kill people and rob goods. Use thundering means to eliminate Hanfu and his group, and get their good things. Complete the task to reward the exclusive attribute, Killer, +1. Option 2. Through extraordinary eloquence, persuade Hanfu and others to let Yifan and Pangbo join them. Complete the task to reward the exclusive attribute, Eloquence, +1. Option 3. The mantis stalks the cicada, the oriole is behind. Let Hanfu and others take on the danger, and they will pick up the benefits behind. Complete the task to reward the basic attribute +1. The answer is obvious. However, the plot in the original drama does not seem to be like this. In the original drama, Yifan and Pangbo were so bold that they went to the jade-horned snake cave to look for good things, and then attracted the demon snake to chase them. Then the two bad guys led the jade-horned snake directly to Hanfu and others, causing them to be killed and eaten by the jade-horned snake. On this side, Hanfu and others first discovered the jade-horned snake cave. Among them, senior sister Li Lin and senior brother Li Yun had good cultivation. After discussion, everyone decided that some people would attract the jade-horned snake, and the rest would enter the cave to search for treasures. They are really not afraid of death. Pangbo, Yifan and Li Herman hid in the dark. We will go in later. Li Herman suddenly suggested. Pangbo immediately said, this is not good, it feels so dangerous. Although he said so, Pangbo's face was excited. Yifan was not a timid person. He had heard that there would be treasures in the jade-horned snake cave. Hanfu began to act. They underestimated the horror of the jade-horned snake and were chased by the jade-horned snake for a while. Senior sister Li Lin and senior brother Li Yun did not care to enter the cave immediately, but immediately led away the jade-horned snake. However, at this time, Li Herman, Yifan and Pangbo quickly entered the cave. I saw several crystal-clear jade snake orchids blooming inside. This is a good thing. Pangbo drooled at the sight. Each of you take one. Let's go. There are 5 plants in total. Yifan and Pangbo each have one, and there are 3 plants left. Of course, the remaining 3 plants are naturally Li Herman's. Yifan and Pangbo have no objection to the comparison. Damn it, it was Yifan and Pangbo. Those 2 bastards, they stole the treasure inside. Kill him. Don't let him go. Pangbo groaned in his heart. Are these people all blind? Li Herman is extremely beautiful. She took 3 plants. You didn't see it. It seems that she was staring at the 2 of us. Run. Li Herman looked at the 3 new system options that popped up in front of her. Although she could kill Hanfu and others with one blow, it was not necessary. Yifan and Pangbo were already strong, and they ran desperately at this moment. Hanfu and others were so angry that their faces turned green. They failed to steal the chicken and lost the rice, and Yifan and Pangbo took advantage of them. They ran all the way and finally escaped to the deepest part of the ruins, the most dangerous place. In the rolling magma, the ancient buildings were looming, and there were many big monsters gathered around. Even the elders and leaders of Ling Qingquan gathered here. Oh my god, what appeared there? Chapter 642, Demon Girl. The ancient temple in the magma has not always been there, but has only appeared recently. The reason is that the seal below has loosened, and then it emerged from the bottom of the magma. And this ancient temple is also extraordinary. It is the tomb of the Demon Emperor. For a time, it attracted many powerful people to gather here, and there was also an unknown strange power. Be careful. It was Li Herman who spoke, and she seemed to be the first to notice something. However, even with Li Herman's reminder, Yifan and Pangbo still couldn't react in the first time. They saw dried corpses flying in the depths of the weird jungle. It was like falling from the sky, making people's scalps numb. What the hell is this? Pangbo was scared and wanted to avoid it, but there were too many dried corpses flying, and some of them hit him directly. Yifan was the same. When he was hit by the corpse, he also felt sick in his stomach. Only Hermione, she didn't seem to be very fast, but she could always dodge it magically. Just when the dried corpses finally stopped falling, Yifan and Pangbo had not yet breathed a sigh of relief. Suddenly, something even more incredible happened. Suddenly, a ball of green will-o'-the-wisp that caused the surrounding temperature to drop sharply flew over and hit Pangbo. Pangbo! Yifan shouted in worry. Pangbo was soon possessed by the thing, and became neither human nor ghost, and his body was also emitting a creepy green light. Yifan looked at Pangbo at this moment, and the eyeballs that made people shudder should not appear on humans at all. Chase! Pangbo, who was controlled by the unknown, did not attack Yifan and Hermione, but went to the ancient temple in the magma. Hermione calmly said the word chase. Yifan was very worried. This sudden change caught him off guard, but because of Hermione's presence, he couldn't help but feel more at ease. With Hermione here, there must be a way. Something happened to Yifan and Pangbo, and behind them, Han Fiu. They were originally in danger of death under the pursuit of the jade-horned snake. The poisonous smoke spit out by the jade-horned snake made the surrounding flowers, plants and trees wither quickly. At the critical moment, Han Fiu thought of a life-saving jade pendant left to him by his uncle. After crushing the jade pendant, the Lin Qingquan Elder Han behind Han Fiu quickly came. This Elder Han's figure was like a dead tree, and he looked very scary. He was excited when he saw the jade-horned snake for the first time, and then he sacrificed 12 green wooden swords and killed the jade-horned snake with thunder. The poor jade-horned snake was swallowed alive by Elder Han. This Elder Han seemed to be on his deathbed. In order to live a few more years, he could do anything cruel. Thank you Elder Han for saving my life. Senior sister Li Lin and senior brother Li Yun are both disciples of Elder Han, including Han Fiu. Yeah, Elder Han nodded and asked everyone how they provoked the jade-horned snake. Everyone looked at each other and began to shirk responsibility at the same time, saying that it was because of Yifan and Pangbo. After hearing this, Elder Han's old eyes burst into light, and he immediately said viciously, "Where are those two?" Han Fiu immediately turned in the direction. Elder Han chased after him without saying anything. Elder Han not only wanted to avenge his disciples, he also had a more unknown vicious purpose. The reason was that Yifan and Pangbo were the ones who walked out alive from the ancient Forbidden Land. As for Hermione, even a strong man like Elder Han would be subconsciously ignored. At this moment, at the Demon Emperor's tomb, various big monsters arrived one after another, including a giant with 2 horns on his head and a height of 3 meters, an old dragon with shining red scales all over his body, a demon girl with golden wings, and big monsters such as the lightning bird. When they saw the 5-color ancient palace composed of 5-color divine jade, they recognized that it was their demon emperor's tomb. They wanted to use this to drive away the human elders of Lin Qingquan, and the head of Lin Qingquan is here today. The contradiction between the two sides is irreconcilable. The elders of Lin Qingquan said, although the ruins that floated up here are related to the demon race, the demon emperor robbed them of the most important volume of the supreme treasure book Taoism of Lin Qingquan. The last volume has been lost so far, so they have to go in and find out. Because of the supreme interests, the contradictions between the two sides are irreconcilable, and neither side will give in. In the back, Pangbo rushed over here because he was possessed by an ominous green light. The first person to discover that Pangbo was abnormal was Pangbo's teacher, Elder Wu Qingfeng. This is a good elder. Although he doesn't understand why Pangbo suddenly became like this, he will not sit idly by. Quick action. The elders who are close to Elder Wu Qingfeng also helped. They are all strong men. Once they make a move, the sky is full of clouds. Among them, the purple gold bagua mirror completely seals Pangbo. Yifan can finally rest assured when he sees this scene. Because of the ancient holy body, Yifan has no status in Link's cave heaven. so it is not easy to go forward and ask. He could only ask Li Herman beside him. Pangbo should not be in any danger, right? This time, Li Herman did not give Yi Fan an accurate answer, but said ambiguously, "It is not so certain for the time being. Let's wait and see what happens." Yi Fan wanted to say something, but thought that with his current strength, even if he risked his life, he could not do anything. He could only follow Li Herman's words and wait and see what happens. The demon girl with golden wings was irritable and took the lead in attacking the leader of Lin Qingquan. Since the words could not be negotiated, let's start fighting. Whoever has the greater ability has the final say. The demon girl released a pair of golden swords with amazing power. In the blink of an eye, she attacked the strongest person in Lin Qingquan. The leader also immediately sacrificed the purple copper furnace to resist. The battle was earth-shattering. The four supreme elders of Lin Qingquan also joined the battle soon, but for a while they were evenly matched with the demons, and no one had the upper hand. At this time, Yi Fan looked at it with a sharp look. These beings are all powerful figures that are beyond Yi Fan's reach. Li Herman only regarded it as a fun event. She did not despise it, but wrote down the attack methods of these strong men one by one. These beings, if you pull any one of them into the Marvel world, can be regarded as superheroes. And just when the battle was hot, there was a sudden sound of heartbeats at the bottom of the magma. Then the tomb of the Demon Emperor emerged a little more upward. Everyone stopped very tacitly. The battle was for profit. Now the inheritance opportunity of the Demon Emperor was in front of them. Of course, everyone did not want to miss the opportunity at this time. Everyone wanted to enter it at the first time. The demon girl had a pair of golden wings. She was very fast and would have the upper hand in a while. After a short truce, there was a more terrible fight. Because the gate of the Demon Emperor's tomb seemed to open a gap, it undoubtedly stimulated the great demons and powerful monks present. They all rushed up quickly and fought on the five-color ancient palace. This battle was much more brutal. They all used killing methods to prevent others from entering first so that they could enter. And Elder of Lin Qingquan was killed first, with his body torn into pieces, looking extremely miserable. Then two great demons were also sacrificed by the head of Lin Qingquan. The blood stained the ancient palace, and Yi Fan was terrified. Li Herman whispered, "Wait for them to fight, and we will reap the benefits." Yi Fan was stunned. How could such a small person like them have such an opportunity? Chapter 643, Tao Sutra, We'll See Volume. Li Herman's words undoubtedly surprised Yi Fan, although he had always known that Li Herman was not simple since he came from the Nine Dragons pulling coffin. The battle between the human race and the big demons caused by the tomb of the Demon Emperor was extraordinary. The elders who were usually high and mighty suffered heavy casualties in the cruel battle. Why did Li Herman think that they could benefit from it? Li Herman's reminder to Yi Fan was not aimless. In fact, everything she said and did had a trace. Including now, she also chose the most appropriate system option task. Most actions are like this. The second set of inscription attributes has also achieved the results that Li Herman expected. Fighting Spirit plus 101, Alchemy plus 102. Therefore, in the world of the Heaven Covering, Li Herman naturally began to find the third set of inscriptions. We'll see Secret Realm plus 3, Holy Body plus 2. Temporarily improve these two attributes, and add the rest later. As the name of the Secret Realm of the Wheel of Sea suggests, this level of cultivation is all about laying the foundation. Li Herman improved the foundation to make her cultivation more stable. After all, Li Herman is a woman with a plug-in. If she improves too quickly, it will be bad if she goes crazy. If she eats too many different things, she is likely to get a stomachache. Similarly, Li Herman has learned too many different powers. If she fails to coordinate well, she will explode and die that day, which will be a joke. Although Li Herman has always had the system by her side, she is cautious by nature and still has to be on guard. As for the sacred body attribute she improved for herself, it is different from Yi Fan's ancient sacred body. Yi Fan's sacred body is difficult to cultivate, but Li Herman's sacred body has no defects in this regard, only advantages. Next, Li Hermione faced the system options and did something that Yi Fan found incredible. Li Hermione suddenly stretched out a finger and pointed it at Pangbo, who had just been sealed by Elder Wu Qingfei and others. The next moment, something strange happened. Pangbo immediately exploded. His whole body was covered with green light, and he seemed to be activated, with demonic energy everywhere. Li Hermione, what are you doing? Li Hermione did not answer, but looked at Pangbo quietly. Pangbo seemed not to notice Li Hermione. Pangbo looked at Yi Fan with complicated eyes. At this moment, he was filled with terrifying power, and demonic patterns appeared on his forehead. He seemed to have become a big demon, and at this moment he also rushed into the tomb of the Demon Emperor. Li Hermione. Yi Fan called Li Hermione again in confusion. This time Li Hermione replied to Yi Fan, just watch. The battle on the tomb of the Demon Emperor was extremely bloody. For the first time, Yi Fan wondered, what is the purpose of these people's hard work and practicing for a lifetime, just to fight for the treasure at this moment and die? Pangbo, who was possessed by the demon at this moment, was very fierce. He pushed away the monks and a big demon who were trying to squeeze into the gate, and then looked back at Yi Fan with a weird look. Then he threw several dead bodies over. This trick again? Not long ago, Yi Fan and Pangbo were attacked by dried corpses, and Pangbo was possessed by a monster. Could it be that Pangbo wanted the dead monster to possess Yi Fan? However, Li Hermione's behavior surprised Yi Fan again. This time, Li Hermione not only stopped dodging, but also took the corpses thrown by Pangbo. Obviously, there was no communication between Li Hermione and Pangbo, but Li Hermione seemed to know everything. Li Hermione took the lead in reaching out and touching the corpse, and took out a page of the golden book from the corpse. The system that only Li Hermione could hear immediately gave a prompt: congratulations on completing the optional task, and reward the high-end version of 1 page of golden book. After receiving the treasure rewarded by the system, Li Hermione immediately returned the 1-page golden book that belonged to Yi Fan to Yi Fan. Here, put it away quickly. Yi Fan was shocked and confused, but still chose to believe Li Hermione. If Li Hermione wanted to harm him, she wouldn't have to wait until now. As for why Li Hermione was not so nice to Pangbo, Yi Fan also noticed that Li Hermione had approached him from the beginning, not Pangbo. There must be something special on him that Li Hermione needed. That page of the golden book was very extraordinary. Yi Fan only took a look at it twice, but he felt a sting in his eyes and could barely see the words, "We'll see" scroll. Yi Fan was immediately shocked. He immediately guessed something. Could it be that this was the genuine Taoism scripture "We'll see" scroll that the Demon Emperor took away that year, as the head of Lin Qingyun said just now? Although it was only one scroll, it was already a supreme treasure. Li Hermione did not lie to him. They were watching the battle here and could get the Taoism scripture "We'll see" scroll that even they had dreamed of. However, this great opportunity was also given by Pangbo. Yi Fan looked at Pangbo, whose whole body was glowing green, with a complicated look. Obviously, he was possessed by the monster. So why did he hide such an important treasure in the corpse and send it over? Could it be that this was Pangbo's will? Pangbo, my good brother. Yi Fan was moved. It was enough for him to have such a good brother in such a dangerous world like the heaven covering. Keep it. Li Hermione was afraid that Yi Fan would let outsiders see this treasure. She stretched out her hand and immediately put a page of the golden book of the We'll See volume of the Tao Sutra into Yi Fan's body. Yi Fan was stunned. What kind of method was this? Before he could react, the page of the golden book disappeared. The next moment, golden light bloomed in the bitter sea in Yi Fan's body. Yi Fan understood that Li Hermione had just hit this page of the golden book into his bitter sea. Too awesome, Yi Fan sighed. Pangbo was loyal and Li Hermione was too mysterious. After obtaining the treasure, he should have left immediately, otherwise, he might be killed. But Pangbo risked his life to give Yi Fan such a great gift, so Yi Fan naturally couldn't leave Pangbo alone. But Yi Fan was too weak at the moment, and it was not convenient for him to rush over to die. He could only watch the battle from a distance. Li Hermione, please, if Pangbo is in danger, help him. At first, Yi Fan was not sure that Li Hermione was capable of participating in such a war. Each powerful person was like a land immortal, But what Li Herman did just now made Yi Fan feel that Li Herman might be more powerful than he imagined. "Don't worry. If nothing unexpected happens, he shouldn't die." As if seeing Yi Fan's worry, Li Herman continued to explain, "Everyone has his own path. Just like you are the ancient holy body, Pangbo also has his own path." After saying this, Yi Fan felt much better. No wonder Li Herman didn't help Pangbo just now. It turned out that she had seen through everything. Yi Fan couldn't help but carefully observe the cute and beautiful girl next to him who was only 11 or 12 years old. Her seemingly innocent eyes seemed to contain many unknown secrets. So, what path will she take? Yi Fan realized that although he had known Li Herman for a long time, in fact, he didn't know the real Li Herman at all. The battle between the human race and the demon race in the Demon Emperor's tomb was about to end, and when a great man was about to inherit the Demon Emperor's legacy, an unexpected situation occurred. Suddenly, a huge group of powerful monks flew over from the sky, and a terrifying force spread down, with overwhelming momentum. Yi Fan took a deep breath, and he understood that these were all powerful people. Yaoguang Holy Land. Is it the terrifying Holy Land behind Link's Cave Heaven? Chapter 644, Fragments of the Emperor's Green Copper Tripod. There are quite a lot of strong people in the world of the Heaven Covering, and this moment can be seen with the naked eye. However, the arrival of the Yaoguang Holy Land did not make the elders of Lin Qingquan feel at ease. On the contrary, they were bitter. In this battle at the Demon Emperor's tomb, Lin Qingquan suffered heavy losses, and the same was true for the Great Demon. For the huge benefits, everyone was willing to fight bloody battles, but no benefits were gained, and the result was to make fighting close for the later big forces. But the next moment, a sudden change occurred again, and 18 ancient chariots came in a mighty manner, and their momentum was not inferior to that of the people of the Yaoguang Holy Land. They are the ancient family Ji family. Now the two top forces have gathered in Yendi, all for the huge treasure in the Demon Emperor's tomb. In order to compete for the treasure, the new forces once again join the battlefield. The three most important treasures are, Taoism, the treasure of the Eastern Wilderness human race, and the remains of the Demon Race Emperor. The Taoism Wheel C scroll has been obtained by Yi Fan with the help of Pangbo, and as for Li Herman, it was just a matter of convenience. Several powerful forces soon opened the door of the Demon Emperor's tomb again, and a heavy treasure flew out immediately. Everyone looked up and saw a 1-foot-long crystal coffin. With a terrifying beating, the crystal coffin broke, and a heart full of vitality was exposed. The powerful masters felt suffocated when they saw this. The monks around who wanted to obtain the heart of the emperor were instantly turned into powder and blood mist, which was extremely miserable. Yi Fan didn't know how many monks and masters died in order to fight for the Demon Emperor's tomb. Each of them was at the level of Lin Qingquan elder, but in this cruel fight, they died worse than ordinary monks. But the greedy people not only did not retreat at all, but continued to join the fight desperately. The heart of the emperor seemed to sense the greed of humans, and quickly turned into a divine light and left at an extremely fast speed. This Demon Clan Emperor's heart is extraordinary, and the surrounding big monsters, including Pangbo who is possessed by the monster, are instantly obsessed with it. The big demons and Pangbo immediately chased after the Emperor's heart. Yi Fan was extremely worried and wanted to chase after it. In the original drama, Yi Fan did go there and saw a woman of extreme beauty, and then several big demons and Pangbo fought. However, Yi Fan was stopped by Li Herman. No need to chase. Yi Fan gradually calmed down. The Emperor's heart was a very powerful demon. Many elder-level masters turned into blood mist powder in an instant. With Yi Fan's current strength, he would be cannon fodder. Not only could he not help Pangbo, but he would also be a drag. Then what should we do now? Yi Fan was very anxious. Although he could not help Pangbo, he also wanted to go over and take a look. At least he had to see Pangbo safe and sound before he could feel at ease. Li Herman smiled and said, "Let's find a place and wait for the treasure to fall from the sky." Yi Fan was speechless again. It felt like so many powerful monks were fighting for it and paid the price of their lives. In the end, would he, Yi Fan, get the advantage? However, Yi Fan still believed in Li Hemin. The two of them were very inconspicuous among the big guys, and no one paid attention to them. Li Hemin followed the system prompts and soon found a wonderful place. The rocks here are flat, which seems to be different from other places. Yi Fan had a complicated expression. We are waiting here for the treasure to fall from the sky? Li Hemin nodded. Yi Fan said again, there are so many powerful people, even if there is a treasure falling, it will be difficult for us to obtain it. Li Hemin smiled and said, it doesn't matter. We only need the most hidden and the most powerful. Yi Fan was even more surprised. This Li Hemin is really bold. The three major forces of Yoguang, Jixing, and Yachi at the tomb of the Demon Emperor. Which one is easy to mess with? But in the eyes of this 11 or 12-year-old girl Li Hemin, it seems that they are all floating clouds. How powerful is this Li Hemin? Yoguang Holy Land is a huge force behind Linksu Cave Heaven, and the ancient family Ji family is also a remarkable existence. As for Yachi, all the people who came are fairy-like cultivators. They are the third largest force that arrived last. Although the great emperor's heart is also a treasure, it is more attractive to the demon race. Now it flies away quickly. Yoguang, Jixing, and Yachi, three major forces, did not chase after it, because they value the treasure of the human race more. Now Link's Dongshin has completely become a second-rate force, and only two supreme elders and the head of the sect are struggling to support it. After the departure of the great demons, the tomb of the Demon Emperor has become more dangerous. It seems that the Demon Emperor left a taboo before his death and did not want his inheritance to be obtained by the human race. The great demons chased the Demon Emperor's heart. There was no great demon breath here, only powerful people. The Demon Emperor's tomb naturally became more terrifying. The gate suddenly closed, and the elder-level monks who broke into it were instantly burned to ashes. The screams did not stop the masters of the three major forces from exploring treasures. On the contrary, they finally put aside their mutual killings temporarily and chose to fight against the common enemy and attack together. For a time, the sky was full of terrifying magic weapons and spells, covering the sky and the sun. Attack the Demon Emperor's tomb together. Boom. After all, it was a long time ago. The Demon Emperor's tomb was shattered by everyone's joint attack. For a while, all kinds of divine lights flew all over the sky. The broken rubble and bricks were all carrying divine clouds, like flowers scattered by heavenly maidens, flying everywhere. At the same time, there were also various magic weapons. In addition to the three great treasures, there were countless ordinary magic weapons. Among the rubble and bricks, this undoubtedly attracted countless monks' blood to boil, and they were anxious to fly to snatch the treasures. After fighting for so long, it was finally time to look for treasures. Yi Fan was also frightened. If he had the strength, he could also snatch some of the treasures of this level. It's a pity that Yi Fan couldn't even protect himself now, so he didn't dare to rush up to look for treasures. It's coming. To Yi Fan's surprise, Li Herman suddenly laughed. Sure enough, several treasures emitting rosy clouds flew towards this side as if they had eyes. The place where the Demon Emperor's tomb was broken was a little far away, and no other powerful monks noticed it. Three rays of light hit the boulder behind Yi Fan and Li Herman at the same time. They were a dagger, a blood bead, and a jade ring. These were all magical instruments, with divine power constantly flowing on them. However, Li Herman was not concerned about the three magical instruments embedded in the wall. Instead, she squatted down and found a rusty green copper sheet from the rubble scattered on the ground. This green copper sheet looked ordinary, but Li Herman knew that it was a good thing. Sure enough, when Li Herman's little hand touched it, the rust on the green copper sheet disappeared instantly. Congratulations on completing the option task, and reward one high imitation version of the Emperor's green copper tripod fragment. Li Herman was satisfied, and then in Yi Fan's puzzled eyes, she quickly slapped the green copper sheet directly into Yi Fan's stomach. Yi Fan didn't have time to scream, but was surprised to find that the green copper sheet that looked ordinary, just like the previous Taoism scripture gold paper, instantly entered Yi Fan's sea of suffering. The Tao Sutra Wheel Sea Scroll was originally a treasure of the human race, and was what Yoguang Holy Land and Linksa Cave Heaven wanted to obtain together. However, At this moment in Yifan's sea of suffering, the one leaf of gold paper, Dao Sutra Wheel C scroll, when seeing the seemingly ordinary green copper piece, actually took the initiative to move aside. It was obvious that the younger brother looked like a big brother. Chapter 645, Demon Princess Yanruayu. Yifan didn't know what to say at this moment. With the help of Pangbo and Li Hemin, when he obtained the Taoism scripture Wheel C scroll, he already felt that this was a great opportunity. He never expected it. At this moment, he was squatting here, not participating in the fighting and robbing at all, and with the help of Li Hemin, he obtained a treasure more precious than the Taoism scripture Wheel C scroll. Li Hemin, such a precious treasure, I can't afford it. This kind of treasure, Li Hemin can take it herself. Why give it to Yifan? Yifan really couldn't figure it out. Li Hemin said, "Here, you take it, don't delay your mother." Yifan didn't know what to say for a while. Because the three rays of light at the beginning flew over and were embedded on the rocks. These were three colorful magic weapons, which immediately attracted a monk who looked a little fat. This monk looked different from ordinary monks. He looked slick and unruly. "Oh my, 3 magic weapons, I'm really lucky." The monk's name is Duanda, which means he has no virtue. Yifan was very dissatisfied. Although Li Hemin had helped him get the mysterious green copper piece that was more precious than the Wheel C scroll of the Taoist scripture, these 3 magic weapons with flowing light were also good things. "We found this first. How can you take it away?" Duanda glanced at Yifan and then at Li Hemin. For some reason, Li Hemin was born beautiful, and the aura emanating from her was also very strange. But Duanda's brain thought and will instantly ignored it. Duanda finally said to Yifan, "If you get this kind of magic weapon, it will bring bloody disasters. You are too young to enjoy it. Let the Taoist take care of this disaster." As he said that, he unceremoniously took away the 3 magic weapons one after another, and then left triumphantly. "Damn it, he didn't leave us any." Yifan still doesn't have a magic weapon in his hand. Any of the 3 items just now can be used as a weapon against the enemy. The fat monk just now was too shameless. Li Herman said indifferently, "His name is Duanda, shamelessness is his character." Yifan looked at Li Herman in surprise again and asked, "How do you even know his name?" Li Herman smiled at Yifan and said, "Secret." Then Li Herman felt something. He looked at the new option task in the system pop-up window and immediately pulled Yifan away. "Be careful." I saw another secret treasure flying in the distance that was so dazzling that it was impossible to look directly at it. It covered the sky and the sun. The light emitted by the treasure was much more terrifying than the 3 magic weapons just now. "Oh my god, that is the weapon held by the Demon Clan Emperor when he was alive. I must get it." Countless monks and masters quickly chased after it, wanting to get this treasure. This is not an ordinary magic weapon. However, the weapon of the Demon Emperor seemed to have eyes and flew towards the boulder behind Yifan and Li Hemin. Duanda, who had just shamelessly possessed 3 magic weapons, turned around and saw this scene and was shocked. "Oh my god, how did this treasure fly over there again? What a terrible weapon." Even a cultivator like Duanda was moved by it, and at the same time, he was puzzled in his heart. Why did so many treasures fly towards the huge stone wall over there? Is there something strange over there? Boom! Before many cultivators arrived, because the weapon held by the Demon Emperor was too domineering, it directly broke the huge stone wall. Fortunately, Yifan had Li Hemin to run away in advance, otherwise the flying stones alone would be enough to seriously injure people. However, the next scene surprised everyone again. After the huge rock was broken, a demon treasure flew out directly the green cornucopia. This thing is extraordinary and can attract many treasures together. So that's it. Seeing this treasure flying out from the broken boulder wall, Monk Duanda immediately understood the reason for all this. It was because of this treasure that so many magic weapons were attracted to fly here just now. Not good. Unlike what Duanda thought, the 3 major forces of Yoguang, Jixing, and Yachi all had a bad feeling in their hearts. Sure enough, the weapons held by the Demon Emperor during his lifetime were immediately collected by the Demon Cornucopia. The next moment, a breathtakingly beautiful woman suddenly appeared. The woman's eyes swept over Yifan and then stopped on Li Hemin. Undoubtedly, This breathtakingly beautiful beauty who had just observed secretly understood the specialness of Li Hemin. Li Hemin became a girl of 11 or 12 years old because of the ancient Forbidden Land, but in terms of appearance, Li Hemin is actually not inferior to the extremely beautiful woman in front of her. Both of them are the ceiling among women, and there is a feeling of heroes cherishing each other. However, the beautiful woman who hid the treasure bowl under the boulder in advance and finally obtained the palm weapon held by the Demon Emperor in his lifetime. She also knew that she could not fight against the three major forces of Yoguang, Jixing, and Yachi alone. So she did not stay for long, and did not even leave a word with Yi Fan and Li Herman. She just took the treasure bowl, used the Dao pattern carved in advance, condensed the power of heaven, and quickly crossed the void. This trip is thousands of miles away. It is also a secret method of space shuttle. Damn it, I actually let the demon woman run away. The monks and masters of Yoguang, Jixing, and Yachi were angry, but they could do nothing. The demon tribe made arrangements in advance, so they succeeded. The three major forces of Yoguang, Jixing, and Yachi had just arrived, so naturally some of them were too late. What a good trick. Are you two little guys okay? Duan admired the demon woman for being able to take away the palm weapon held by the demon emperor in his lifetime in full view of the public. It was incredible. Yi Fan and Li Herman shook their heads. Duan said no more and left immediately to look for treasure. Yi Fan looked at Duan's greasy back and said, if there was no cornucopia here and the treasure was not taken away in advance, I'm afraid Duanda would take it away again. Li Hemin thought that although Duanda had some means, the weapons held by the Demon Emperor during his lifetime were extraordinary and he could not take them away just because he wanted to. Yi Fan saw that Li Hemin did not talk to him about Duanda, although the monk did not look simple. Yi Fan asked, Li Hemin, do you know that woman put the cornucopia here? Li Hemin did not answer this question, but said, that beautiful woman is the demon princess Yan Ruiyu. We will meet her again in the future. Yi Fan admired. Although they only met once, Li Hemin could easily call out the other party's name, and it can be seen that Li Hemin seems to care more about the demon princess Yan Ruiyu. As the demon emperor's heart flew out, the weapons held by the demon emperor during his lifetime were also snatched away by the demon princess Yan Ruiyu using the treasure bowl. The human race's great powers suffered heavy casualties, and Duan obtained some ordinary colorful magic weapons, but they gained almost nothing. The three major forces of Yoguang, Jiclan, and Yachi were all furious. Where is the treasure of the East Wasteland? The great powers roared in the sky and searched everywhere, but could not find the treasure of the East Wasteland taken away by the Demon Emperor. Yi Fan was at the foot of the mountain, feeling a little strange. The green copper piece that Li Herman secretly inserted into the bitter sea in his body, is it? That thing looks ordinary, but in the bitter sea, it is even more powerful than the Wheel Sea volume of the Taoism Sutra, and it is definitely not simple. Chapter 646 Demon Emperor's Tomb in Desolate Tower. It would be fine if they couldn't find the general magic weapon, but the treasure of the East Wasteland was extraordinary and must be obtained. In order to prevent the behavior of the Demon Clan Princess Yan Ruiyu who had just stolen the weapon held by the Demon Clan Emperor before his death from reappearing, several masters jointly launched a campaign to seal all the weapons within a radius of 100 miles. They would not stop until they found out who was hiding secretly. For a while, uneasiness grew in everyone's hearts. Yi Fan looked at Li Herman and whispered her name. Li Herman. Just a call was enough to express Yi Fan's worry. It doesn't matter. Li Herman only replied with these three words. It can be said that these three words were enough to make Yi Fan feel much more at ease. Yi Fan looked at Li Herman. Yi Fan had no plan in his mind, but Li Herman pulled Yi Fan in one direction after observing the surroundings. Yi Fan did not refuse at all. He knew that Li Herman had many ways, and following her would naturally find a way to survive. After a while, the two came to a black pool. Looking from afar, the unscrupulous monk Duanda whom I met before was there. He seemed to have discovered the strangeness of the black pool and was observing it carefully. What is he doing? Yi Fan asked in a low voice. Li Herman did not hide it and said to Yi Fan, the tomb of the Demon Emperor that we saw just now was actually just a Yang tomb. and under this black pool is the Yin tomb. Yang tomb? Yin tomb? This statement undoubtedly opened Yifan's eyes again. How could the tomb of a generation of demon emperors be broken so easily? Hermione narrated it seriously, as if there was nothing in the world that she didn't know. Yifan could only admire her. Hermione looked at the system pop-up window in front of him. Option 1. Take Yifan and Wanda into the Demon Emperor's Yin tomb, and complete the task to reward the exclusive attribute, cold, +1. Option 2. Secretly killed Wanda, throw his body into the dark pool, and successfully sacrifice. Complete the task to reward the exclusive attribute, health, +1. Option 3. Stay in the dark and wait and see. Completing the task rewards basic attributes +1. The answer is obvious. Hermione casually releases advanced magic, so that outsiders cannot find her and Yifan. Then, just quietly observed Wanda. Yifan listened to Hermione's explanation and realized that the Yang tomb just now was already very scary. The one-leaf golden book and the mysterious green copper piece in his body were all obtained there. Now in this Yin tomb, it may be even more dangerous. Stay here to watch the battle. Do you still want to continue to pick up bargains? Yifan didn't think they could have such good luck. Most likely they would lose their lives. People can't be too greedy. However, with Hermione around, everything feels safe. Yifan put down his anxiety and see what Hermione is going to do. I saw that Wanda on the edge of the cold pond had observed almost everything, and finally jumped up and jumped down. After waiting for a long time, Wanda turned directly into an ice sculpture and floated up. This picture is really weird. Is he dead? Yifan asked in a low voice. Not dead. Sure enough, the next moment, the ice cracked, and Wanda climbed up shivering from the cold. He said to himself, "It's too cold, I almost froze to death." However, this is really not simple. According to my inference, one is yin and the other is yang. This is most likely the Yin tomb of the Demon Emperor. The body of the Demon Emperor is hidden in it, and the treasure of the human race, Desolate Tower, is most likely in it. The huge temptation naturally made Wanda want to continue the adventure. He packed up and jumped into the dark pool again. Yifan knew that his ability was low, so he didn't think about entering to grab the treasure. In fact, when he was in the Yang tomb of the Demon Emperor, he didn't have the opportunity to get close. This time, after waiting for a long time, Wanda didn't float up. Is he dead in there? Yifan didn't worry about Wanda's life or death. Next, Hermione's operation made Yifan a little confused. I saw a monk who didn't look like a decent monk passing by. He seemed to have discovered the difference here. He landed around the cold pool and was observing. Yifan saw with his own eyes that Hermione suddenly flew out, and kicked the unrighteous monk down with one kick. Plop! The unrighteous monk fell into the water without even a splash. Yifan was a little stunned and asked, Hermione, what are you doing? Hermione said, this dark pond needs a blood sacrifice. Only in this way can this tomb be discovered by the three major forces of Yoguang, Jixing, and Yachi. Yifan didn't know what to say. Even if it was a blood sacrifice, they couldn't be allowed to do it. Isn't this a bit too cruel? The next moment, a black gold ape monster with 3 heads emerged from the dark pond, which was very scary. Wanda was chased and flew out, but the unrighteous young monk who was just kicked down by Hermione was not so lucky. He was caught directly and cut in half. For a while, blood filled the entire pond. Oops! Wanda cursed while offering his magic weapon to fight against the black gold ape. This damn guy, if he doesn't die, his blood will definitely activate the Yin tomb and make this place a fierce place. There is no hope for treasure hunting. Wanda felt regretful and angry. As expected, this Yin tomb was completely activated by blood, and the surrounding area was filled with a fierce aura, which made people feel dizzy. Wanda was reluctant to leave for a while, but he couldn't do anything about this place if he didn't leave. He was in a dilemma. All the Yin soldiers guarding the Yin tomb activated by blood rushed out, and then there were Yin generals. It was terrifying. The powerful aura directly attracted the 3 major forces of Yoguang, Jixing, and Yachi to come at the same time. As soon as they saw the scene of the Mingtan, they immediately understood. The powerful men laughed loudly, No wonder the treasure of the East Wasteland has not been found yet. I thought it was secretly taken away by villains. It turns out that there are two tombs of the Demon Emperor, the Yang Tomb and the Yin Tomb. The corpse of the Demon Emperor in the East Wasteland treasure tower must be in one of them. As they said this, several masters rushed in together. Just now in front of the Yang Tomb of the Demon Emperor, several major forces fought bloody battles for the treasure without hesitation. Now that the traces of the treasure of the East Wasteland have been found again, everyone will naturally not let it go. Dwanda complained bitterly. He didn't want to participate in it anymore. Just now in the Yang Tomb of the Demon Emperor, he hid behind and took advantage of it. He didn't want to participate in two dangerous battles. Now, he wanted to withdraw, but was threatened by the three major forces at the same time. You, the fat monk, discovered this place first, which means you have some means of treasure hunting. Now that you are here, don't leave. Let's get down together. Dwanda cursed in his heart, but he had to bite the bullet and enter the Yin Tomb again. The battle and blood dyed the entire Mington red, making the murderous Orhair even more intense. The powerful people who knew the goods could tell at a glance that this was the tomb of the Demon Emperor, so they naturally released the restrictions within a radius of 100 miles. The desolate tower must be in the Yin Tomb, and it has not been discovered yet. Naturally, the original speculation is not true. Li Hemin saw that the surrounding barriers were opened, so she pulled Yi Fan and said, "Let's go. It's time for us to leave." Yi Fan was stunned. He didn't expect Li Hemin's mind to be so meticulous. It turned out that what she had just done was just to let the three major forces of Yoguang, Jixing, and Yachi discover this place, so that they would understand that the treasure of the East Wasteland, the desolate tower, had not been born. Chapter 647, The Ancient Zhang Family. As long as the enchantments around them are opened, Yi Fan and Li Hemin can leave at will. What Yi Fan didn't know was that even the enchantments released by Yoguang, Jixing, and Yachi Danen were child's play in front of Li Hemin. In Yi Fan's opinion, Li Hemin was planning step by step and escaping from here with a brilliant plan. But in fact, Li Hemin was just completing the optional tasks step by step. If she really wanted to leave, there were many ways. And she could choose to stay here, or enter the Demon Emperor's Yin Tomb to explore the secrets together. However, there was no need. There were too many secret places in the world of the covering heaven, and there was no rush for this moment. This time, Yi Fan gained a lot, and Li Hemin also gained a lot. Wait until all these treasures are digested, and then do other things. Treasure-greedy people all came to the Demon Emperor's Yin Tomb, not afraid of life and death. But the inconspicuous Yi Fan and Li Hemin did the opposite, and finally successfully left this dangerous place. When he came to the outside of the ruins, Yi Fan could finally breathe a breath of fresh and natural air, and the whole person seemed to have escaped from death. "Thank you, Li Herman. If it weren't for you, I'm afraid I would have died in there." Li Herman smiled. "Even without me, you wouldn't die. But it would definitely not be so smooth." Li Herman told the truth. In the original drama, Yi Fan would not die easily even if he was alone. After all, he was the male protagonist in the world of the Great Ruler. However, without Li Herman's assistance, he would definitely suffer some hardships. Finally left the dangerous place and came to the world of mortals. The life atmosphere of ordinary people here made Yi Fan feel as if he was in another world. Finally, I can live a peaceful life. Li Herman disagreed. Yi Fan was the male protagonist. In this world that regarded human life as worthless, it was almost impossible for him to live without disputes. "Let's go. Let's find a hotel to stay in." When Li Herman suddenly spoke and pointed to a small restaurant that looked a bit ordinary, Yi Fan suddenly felt a little strange in his heart. "Li Herman, no, there will be some changes in this restaurant, right?" Li Herman didn't expect Yi Fan to be so smart. Indeed, she chose to come here to trigger the punch-in sign-in task according to the system option task prompt. The task is simple and the reward is generous. "With me here, what are you afraid of?" Yi Fan smiled bitterly. "Okay then, it seems that something bad will happen in this restaurant." However, just after entering, Yi Fan saw a very cute little girl. For some reason, at first sight, Yi Fan felt very close. It seemed that it was destined that the two would meet and get to know each other here. "What do you want to eat?" Although Yi Fan and Li Herman didn't look very old, they were dressed like ordinary people. The store was a little simple, with an old man who was about to be buried, and a little girl who looked younger than Yi Fan. The surroundings looked like a bare house, the kind that would go bankrupt at any time. Li Herman was not polite. "Bring up all of the delicious food and drinks." In the original play, there was only Yi Fan. Yi Fan is careless and doesn't pay attention to details. After eating, he found that he had no money. In the end, Yi Fan chose to stay in the hotel to do hard labor to pay off his debts. In fact, he also wanted to find a place to stay, because he saw that the old man and the little granddaughter were kind people. Yi Fan came from Kowloon pulling coffin, and experienced too many hardships and life and death along the way. Now he was moved by the warmth between this ordinary grandfather and granddaughter. In short, what people lack, they want. Yi Fan, who is alone, lacks family affection the most in the world of Covering the Sky. Of course, the above are all Yi Fan's psychological journey in the original drama. Yi Fan here is much happier. Although Li Herman has always been mysterious, she has never left, giving Yi Fan an unimaginable sense of security. "I have plenty of money." As she said, Li Herman generously threw a large bag of money on the table. It was the first time that Yi Fan saw Li Herman behave so generously. Sure enough, money is the master. The shop owner's granddaughter was named Tingting. She saw that Li Herman was not much older than her, but she was generous and her speech and behavior were also like an old man in the world. She was really envious. Little Tingting had been born in this small town and had never been there. She had always lived a poor life with her grandfather. Moreover, she had always been the target of bullying. Too much. There are only some simple meals in the store. It doesn't cost that much. The old man's surname was Zhang. He had lived his whole life and didn't know how terrible his surname was. His name was Zhang Haisheng, and his little granddaughter was called Zhang Tingting. "No need to return it. I have plenty of money. For the extra money, you just need to wash the food and dishes cleanly." As she said that, Li Herman stretched out her hand and pinched Zhang Tingting's little face like a big sister. In the original play, Zhang Tingting called Yi Fan little brother, and the relationship in the early stage was slowly warming up. On this side, Li Herman at the moment had a bit of social awesomeness, and Li Herman herself was an extraordinary person. Naturally, Zhang Tingting, who had never seen the world, admired her very much. She was not afraid of Li Herman and let Li Herman pinch her round little face. Li Herman continued, "I see that this little girl is cute, but she is wearing shabby clothes. I will use the remaining money to buy her some new clothes, so that I, a rich lady, can feel more comfortable." This is really a rich lady. Not knowing the suffering of the people, it is difficult for ordinary poor people to make money. And this Li Herman is not only generous, but the key is that she has too much money to spend, which really makes people born in poverty feel very complicated. Yi Fan was dumbfounded. He didn't know why Li Herman was like this. That bag of money was indeed not a small amount. He thought that Li Herman pretended to be generous for some purpose. Maybe Li Herman was kind-hearted and wanted to help this family. Little did he know that Li Herman was really too rich. Her good luck in picking up money has always existed, including the bag of money she took out at this moment, which is only 1/10,000th of the money she picked up when she came to the world of the heaven-shaking world. Besides, it is not too easy for Li Herman to get some money with her ability. She has already been financially free. The old man wanted to refuse, but Li Herman said, "If you keep talking nonsense, I will let my men smash your store." Yi Fan was speechless again. "You said, Li Herman, it's fine if you pretend to be a writer, but why do you drag me in? When did I become your men? You also want to smash the store?" "He won't do such a morally corrupt thing." Old man Zhang Haisheng was also at a loss for words, and could only accept it reluctantly. He had been doing small business all his life, and it was the first time he encountered such a stubborn lady customer. "Sister, you are not really going to smash our store, are you?" Little Zhang Tingting was a little scared. "This is the place where my grandfather and I live together." "Sister, calm down and don't smash the store." Li Herman looked at Yi Fan and said with a smile, "My brother is Yi Fan. He is a fierce man. Whether he smashes the store or not depends on his intention. Seeing little Zhang Tingting looking at Yi Fan with pitiful eyes out of fear, Yi Fan coughed awkwardly and could only comfort her. Don't listen to her nonsense. We are good people. How could we smash the store? She was just joking. Seeing Yi Fan say this, little Zhang Tingting finally burst into laughter. She thought the two little brothers and sisters were so funny. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelist. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We are waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 648 Yi Fan Takes Action. Zhang Haitian took out the last food in the store. Although it was not as good as the delicacies that Li Hemin often ate, it was still okay. After eating and drinking, the two went back to their rooms to sleep. It was not easy to escape from the tomb of the demon emperor. The body was exhausted, and he would fall asleep peacefully. However, Yi Fan couldn't sleep. He sat up and began to practice. With Li Hemin helping him get so many good things, he must think about it thoroughly. Only when his own strength is strong, he will be qualified to control his own destiny. Work hard. Li Hemin was not in a hurry to sleep. She had some higher requirements for the quality of life. First of all, she naturally had to decorate the simple room. Then she took out her high imitation Taoism Sutra Wheel C scroll and the high imitation mysterious green copper sheet. When Yi Fan was still struggling at the bottom, Li Hemin had naturally made some achievements in practice. The night passed quickly. The next day, with the timely pop-up window of Li Hemin's system, Li Hemin also understood that a new story was about to unfold. You can hear the sound of smashing and destroying from below the restaurant. Yi Fan also heard it from upstairs. He immediately moved forward, and at the same time he was confused. Could it be that Li Hemin was really going to smash the restaurant in anger? Yesterday, I thought this woman was just joking, and I never expected that she would actually do it for real. Although I felt that Li Hemin was not a person who would do meaningless things, Yi Fan still had to go down to take a look. When he opened the door, the exquisite Li Hemin was standing at the door. In this way, Yi Fan's guess was shattered. It was obviously not Li Hemin who did it. Zhang Haitian screamed from below, and he protected his granddaughter Zhang Tingting. Zhang Tingting bravely stood up and criticized the bad guys for their inhumane behavior. But the bad guys' leader, Manager Liu, not only did not get angry, but sneered. If you want to blame someone, blame your blind parents. They don't know their own identities, but offend people they can't afford to offend. It turns out that there is a reason for everything. In the original drama, Yi Fan also spent several days investigating before he understood the whole story. Yi Fan was confused and asked Li Hemin beside him, "Do you know what happened?" Li Hemin said bluntly, "Zhang Tingting's parents are disciples of Yangxia Dongshan, one of the 6 caves and paradises in Yan State, but they offended the 7th young master of the Li family in the same town, who is also a disciple of Yangxia Dongshan. Zhang Tingting's parents died unexpectedly, and since then Zhang Tingting has been helpless, and the manager Liu, who is the leader of this group of bad guys, is the 7th young master of the Li family." Yi Fan was full of admiration. This Li Hemin is too awesome. Not only does he know some information about the strong, but he also knows the hatred of ordinary people in the world clearly. Yi Fan trusts Li Hemin very much and does not question Li Hemin's words. Too much bullying. Yi Fan was a little indignant. Li Hemin said bluntly, "Didn't you get some treasures and improve your cultivation? Now is a good time to practice. Go down and eliminate violence and protect the good." Yi Fan is usually a cautious person. Even if he takes action, it is in secret. Now Li Herman asked him to take action in public. Yi Fan hesitated and said, "It's not that I don't want to uphold justice, but that bad guy Manager Liu is just a small fish. Even if I teach him a lesson now, the 7th young master of the Li family will come again in the future." Yi Fan was worried that he didn't help people thoroughly enough, but would bring more terrible revenge to Zhang Haitian and Zhang Tingting. Li Herman said, "Let's talk about the future later. At most, we can stay here for a few more days. Revenge as soon as possible. Go." Yi Fan was helpless. Although he had different opinions, Li Herman did help him a lot. In terms of emotion and reason, Yi Fan should not refuse at this moment. Okay then, maybe Li Herman has more plans. Yi Fan jumped down from the upstairs. Stop it. Where did you come from, little brat? Boy, we advise you to stop meddling in other people's business. Several bad guys looked ferocious. Bullying the weak was what they loved to do most. Yi Fan said no more. Seeing that Zhang Haisheng's forehead was bleeding, Zhang Tingting's face was pale. She didn't need words to stimulate her anger towards the bad guys. Attack. Yi Fan didn't use any immortal means, just his strong body could exert a powerful force. With one punch and one kick, a body of 11 or 12 years old could knock the bad guy out. Oh my god. Zhang Tingting was stunned. She didn't expect that the little brother last night would be so powerful. Li Herman also walked down calmly and said with a smile, "Don't worry." Li Herman saw that Zhang Haisheng was worried that Yi Fan would be hurt by the bad guys. Moreover, meddling in other people's business will always cause trouble. However, Li Herman was not doing it on impulse, but a choice task of choosing one out of three. Compared with standing by and watching, it is more pleasant to retaliate immediately at this time. Moreover, Li Herman understood that the villain, the seventh young master of the Li family, was not to be feared at all, because it won't be long before the real background forces of Zhang Haisheng and Zhang Tingting will emerge. With a crackling sound, Yi Fan sent the bad guy flying with 3 punches and 2 kicks. The bad guy was just as arrogant as he was now. The crowds watching all around also started to talk about it. Finally, God has mercy on them and a hero has come to help this poor grandfather and grandson. However, this group of people are just lackeys of the Li family. I'm worried that the people who have come to help and Zhang Haisheng and his grandson will suffer more fierce revenge. When everyone found out that the hero who had come to help was actually a child, they immediately exclaimed, "So young!" It's true that heroes emerge from youth. Cultivators are not a secret in the world of Zacian, so it's easy for everyone to guess that Yi Fan is from a family of immortal cultivators. Zhang Haisheng rushed over immediately, with mixed emotions. "Young master, you are not hurt, are you?" Yi Fan shook his head. He first glanced at Li Herman, and then said, "I'm fine, tell me the details." Zhang Haisheng understood that Yi Fan and Li Herman were not simple. He cleaned up the knocked-over tables and chairs and told them what he knew. Sure enough, it was just as Li Herman said. Zhang Tingting's parents were upright. They offended people they shouldn't have offended in Yangtze Cave Heaven. Not only did they die, but now even Zhang Haisheng and Zhang Tingting, the grandfather and grandson, are constantly bullied. Too hateful. Although Yi Fan is used to seeing life and death vendettas, this kind of petty villain is really hateful. Yi Fan comforted, "Now we have magnified the problem, but we will not just leave." Yi Fan looked at Zhang Tingting and said, "We will definitely solve the problem. Thank you, brother hero." Zhang Tingting was extremely excited. She did not expect that the 2 little brothers in front of her, who were not much older than her, were so responsible and heroic. Only Zhang Haisheng felt that things were not that simple. There might be a solution to the problem with just the 7th young master of the Li family, but that person was behind Yangtze Dongshan, which was not something that mortals could afford to provoke. No matter how powerful Yi Fan was, he could not be an enemy of the entire Yangtze Dongshan. After being beaten, Zhang Haisheng also went to the vegetable market to buy fresh vegetables and food and cooked for Yi Fan and Li Herman. When he was away, Zhang Tingting was taken care of by Yi Fan and Li Herman. Chapter 649 Domineering Li Hermione. Yi Fan did not avoid suspicion and asked directly, "Should we go directly to the Li family to ask for an explanation?" Yi Fan felt that he had to strike first. Zhang Haisheng and Zhang Tingting were ordinary people. If they waited for the bad guys to be ready and came directly to kill them, there would probably be serious consequences. No need. Li Herman shook her head and said, "They will come again soon. The Li family is a bully in the town. They have always bullied others. Today, they were beaten by a child." This breath was naturally unbearable. After the beaten manager Liu went back to report to the head of the family, the head of the Li family personally brought dozens or hundreds of people to come in a mighty manner. Even the entire small restaurant was surrounded. Set fire. burn this small broken building. The head of the Li family was domineering and more brutal than in the original drama. In the original drama, Yi Fan always made a move in secret, so that the bad guys didn't know who the enemy was. But it's different here. There is a head for every debt. In the Li family's territory, the Li family was beaten. This is too much. Because there were so many people, there were no more people around to watch the fun. They were so scared that they hid in their own houses, fearing that they would be implicated. Let's see who dares. Li Hemin pulled little Zhang Tingting out. Her voice was crisp, but her momentum was not weak. Even though she looked only 11 or 12 years old, she was not inferior to hundreds of bad guys and bullies. Don't be afraid. Zhang Tingting couldn't help trembling. This was the first time she had seen such a scene since she was a child. Not to mention, with Li Hemin's comfort, Zhang Tingting immediately felt an unprecedented sense of security. Maybe, this beautiful young lady is just as powerful. Zhang Tingting just saw brother Yi Fan take action, but she hadn't seen Li Hemin take action yet. It's that stinky boy, the head of the family. As soon as Yi Fan came out, he was stared at by hundreds of people at the same time. Even though he knew that these people were ordinary people, this scene still made people feel terrified. Moreover, the leading bully was holding a sharp knife and a stick. If he was hit, it would probably not be pleasant. You bastard, where did you come from? How dare you hit someone from our Li family? Li Herman spoke for Yi Fan. Stop talking nonsense and start fighting. A system task of choosing 1 out of 3. Of course, it is most effective to start fighting immediately. Yi Fan's mouth was a little bitter. Why did Li Herman always want to fight? However, even if there were many enemies, Yi Fan was not afraid. What arrogant kids. Break their hands and feet first. I want to see if they dare to be so arrogant. With an order from the head of the Li family, hundreds of bullies directly fought against Yi Fan and Li Herman. As the main force, Yi Fan rushed up directly. He looked young, but his strength was extremely amazing. He still used brute force to attack, but the power that Yi Fan's sea of suffering burst out, wrapped his whole body as a defense to prevent himself from being injured by hidden arrows. Little Yi Fan was like a little god of war at this moment. Originally, he didn't need to fight like this, but because of Li Herman's intention, it eventually turned out like this. As for Li Hemin, she was still holding Zhang Tingting, motionless, and there were bad guys around who wanted to take action. But after looking at Li Hemin's special eyes, they started to go crazy, raising their weapons and killing each other in front of Li Hemin. They are monks, not mortals. After discovering this, more than half of the hundreds of people brought by the Li family had been killed. Yi Fan was covered in blood, but it was all the enemies, not his. Yi Fan also noticed Li Hemin, and the bad guys who rushed towards the 2 girls were all very wretched bad guys. However, when the bad guys approached Li Hemin within 3 meters, they seemed to be possessed by demons and started to beat up their own people. It was really weird. Zhang Tingting was even more dumbfounded. In her eyes, brother Yi Fan was a god of war, and no evil man could withstand his punch. However, sister Li Hemin was even more terrifying. She seemed to be able to control people's hearts. When the enemy approached, she went crazy. This had a huge visual impact on Zhang Tingting. A mortal, she had never thought that there would be such a chic girl in the world. Although the hundreds of bullies wanted to teach the 2 children a lesson, the result was one-sided. Oh my god! These 2 children are devils. The hundreds of bullies fled in panic, and at this moment they had completely lost their will to fight. Many were even injured because of the panic and trampling. The head of the Li family was the first to run away, go to Yangtze Cave Heaven to invite the 7th young master of the Li family. Facing a powerful cultivator, the victory or defeat can no longer be determined by age and number. Only when immortal cultivators fight immortal cultivators can they decide the winner. The battlefield gradually recovered. Although Yi Fan was fighting with passion, he did not rush to chase. He came to Li Herman. Although Li Herman was within 3 meters of him, not even a dust was raised, and her clothes were as clean as new clothes. He still asked, "Are you all right?" "Nothing," Zhang Tingting answered excitedly. "Sister is very good. Brother, you are also very good." Li Herman looked at Yi Fan's somewhat embarrassed appearance and smiled. "Let's go back to the house. You wash up and change into clean clothes. Okay. Yi Fan looked into Li Herman's eyes and could see that Li Herman was calm, as if what happened just now did not cause her any emotional fluctuations. It's really amazing. In Yi Fan's heart, Li Herman was not only mysterious at this moment, but also very powerful, recalling that Li Herman seemed to have almost never been injured no matter what danger she encountered, and even rarely showed a panic expression. She was always calm and seemed to see through everything. What a wonderful woman. Yi Fan went upstairs, washed up, changed clothes, and except for a little pain when punching people, he was almost not injured. When going downstairs, Zhang Haisheng just bought fresh fish, meat and vegetables. Li Herman paid for it yesterday, so Zhang Haisheng also had money to buy these today, otherwise he really couldn't afford to eat. However, when Zhang Haisheng saw the blood outside the store, he immediately panicked. When the neighbors came out to explain, old man Zhang Haisheng was surprised. Hundreds of bullies? They were beaten away by 2 children. It's unbelievable. There is only one answer. These 2 children are definitely not ordinary people. You are not hurt, right? Tingting. Zhang Haisheng couldn't calm down. Grandpa, Zhang Tingting and Zhang Haisheng depend on each other for life, and they also have a deep affection for their grandfather. After a conversation, Zhang Haisheng finally convinced that Yi Fan and Li Herman were fine. Li Herman smiled and said, "Cook, I'm hungry." You are really not ordinary people. After just experiencing such a horrible thing, you can still talk and laugh now. Zhang Haisheng was filled with emotion. Okay, I'll do it right away. Although he knew that the Li family would not give up, and they had lost so much face today, it would be too embarrassing if there was no follow-up action. However, Zhang Haisheng also understood that it was useless to worry more. Now that it has come to this, let's just go with the flow. If there is really no other way in the end, then he can only leave his hometown and flee from here. In the original drama, Zhang Haisheng has been bullied and was unwilling to leave, just because he has lived his whole life and really doesn't want to leave his hometown. And he also understands that it is more difficult to survive outside. The world is cruel, the strong are respected, and it is wrong for the weak to breathe. Chapter 650, Bloodbath of the Li family. Having lived his whole life as a weakling, Zhang Haisheng had already learned to accept adversity. Now he was lucky to have the help of Yi Fan and Li Herman. After Yi Fan and Li Herman had eaten and drunk their fill, Zhang Tingting, who admired them, slept with Li Herman that night. Yi Fan still didn't quite understand what Li Herman was planning, but since he was living here temporarily, he would take the time to work hard to improve his strength. Only with strength can one live in this world with self-esteem. There is no doubt about that. The 7th young master of the Li family, who was a disciple of Yangxia Dongshan, soon learned about what happened to the Li family. He was very angry after hearing about it. In the original drama, he ran back alone to find a place, but here, he seemed to have expected it and came back with a few disciples. 2 days later, Zhang Haisheng's business began to improve. However, many customers had just finished their meals when the 7th young master of the Li family, riding on a strange beast, and a group of brothers from the sect came to the door of Zhang Haisheng's hotel and started yelling and cursing. It's just endless. Yi Fan looked out the window, and he was very upset. He thought Li Herman would take him out to fight immediately. Although the troublemaker this time was a cultivator, not a mortal, he could not sit idly by. However, there was no movement from Li Herman's side. The customers in the store were all scared and scattered at this moment. Some of the brave ones hid in the corner and dared to watch the excitement. The group of the 7th young master of the Li family started to smash and destroy things, and Yi Fan could not stand it. Even if Li Herman did not take action this time for some reason, Yi Fan could not sit idly by, because this time, the purpose of the group of the 7th young master of the Li family was not Zhang Haisheng, but Yi Fan and Li Herman. However, Li Herman seemed to have guessed it, and appeared at Yi Fan's door in advance. The pale-faced Zhang Tingting was standing next to Li Herman. She was a little girl, and her fate was mostly suffering. Now the only one that little Tingting could rely on was the immortal brother and sister in front of her. Otherwise, Her grandfather Zhang Haisheng would definitely be beaten to death by the bully today. However, Sister Li Hemin's behavior this time was very different from the previous 2 times. "Yi Fan, don't attack yet." Yi Fan was also full of surprise, and he was confused because he knew that Li Hermione was very mysterious. Even when she was in the tomb of the Demon Emperor, she was able to act calmly in the face of so many powerful forces. The 7th young master of the Li family was just a disciple of Yangxia Dongshan. Even if there were a few of them, they should not be afraid to fight. Wait a minute, there will be a good show to watch. Li Hermione looked like she knew everything in the world, which really made Yi Fan feel complicated. However, Yi Fan still followed Li Hermione's arrangement. Downstairs, only Zhang Haisheng was struggling to support himself. When Zhang Haisheng was about to be beaten, Zhang Tingting shouted worriedly, "Grandpa." "Great, so you 2 little bastards are hiding upstairs." The 7th young master of the Li family was very proud. What he was most worried about was that the 2 little bastards ran away. The world is so big, if they really ran away, it would be difficult for the 7th young master of the Li family to find them again. Facing the arrogant scolding of the 7th young master of the Li family, Li Hermione ignored it and didn't even make a move. Yi Fan frowned. It has come to this point. What is Li Hermione planning? However, the next moment, as the entire ground and the small building began to tremble, everyone looked out of the town in surprise, only to see the golden divine beast, the 5-colored beast, the divine deer with vertical eyes and other high-level beasts flying over, and more advanced monks quickly coming. The 7th young master of the Li family was dumbfounded. Yi Fan didn't know what happened. Zhang Haisheng and Zhang Tingting didn't understand either. Only Li Hermione looked at the system prompt that the task was completed, and showed a happy look. She wanted to beat the 7th young master of the Li family and others to death, but if she didn't take action and waited for rescue, she would get more rewards. And this option can also make the subsequent story more full and interesting. Naturally, Li Hermione chose this. This time, Li Hermione didn't need to explain. Yi Fan saw an arrogant and domineering flag in the large group of monks flying over. Zhang family, ancient family. Smart Yi Fan immediately thought of something. Li Hermione would not come here to rest for no reason. Zhang Haisheng and Zhang Tingting also have the surname Zhang, but they were bullied by bullies so badly that they could not think of them being related to the ancient Zhang family. "Who are you?" The 7th young master of the Li family seemed to have sensed something was wrong, but at this moment he could only bite the bullet and ask, "You are blind, can't you see such a big flag?" The 7th young master of the Li family was scolded. Then Zhang Yifei, the leader of the Zhang family, came to Zhang Haisheng, who was trembling a little, and asked politely, "Excuse me, are you Zhang Haisheng?" Zhang Haisheng didn't know why, but he could feel that the people who came this time were extremely unusual. Although the group of the 7th young master of the Li family were cultivators, they all ran here on the ground on the strange beasts. But this group of people who came later not only had a radiant and fairy-like aura all over their bodies, but they all flew here. The level and pattern immediately went up. "I am," Zhang Yifei said politely again. "Don't be afraid, old man, we are the ancient Zhang family." Zhang Yifei's attitude calmed Zhang Haisheng down. Although he didn't know much about the immortal family, he knew that the group of people in front of him were definitely not simple. However, Zhang Yifei's next words really shocked Zhang Haisheng, who was about to be buried. "Old man, is your father Zhang's?" Zhang Haisheng was shocked, but still nodded. Then Zhang Yifei also smiled. "It seems that it is indeed correct, Uncle Zhang. You may not believe it, but in fact, your lineage is also our Zhang family. Because of some special reasons, Zhang's left the ancient Zhang family and drifted here. It was just that he did not expect that his descendants would be so miserable." At this time, unlike the polite and elegant young man Zhang Yifei, his younger brother Zhang Yiken had a bad temper. "Dare to bully our Zhang family, all of you, die." The 7th young master of the Li family and others were killed on the spot before they could feel proud for long. The strength of the two sides was very different. Knowing that Zhang Haisheng's family was oppressed by the Li family in the town, and even Zhang Haisheng's son and daughter-in-law were probably killed by them, they naturally wanted to take revenge. After killing the seventh young master of the Li family and his group, the ancient Zhang family went straight to the Li family again. This family originally planned to wait for the seventh young master to return victoriously, but they didn't expect that what they were waiting for was the old man sending the black man away. The monks killed without blinking an eye, not to mention that the members of the ancient family had been bullied by the bullies in the town for so many years. Bloodbath of the Li family. All this happened within a few hours, and Zhang Haishan and Zhang Tingting even felt like they were dreaming. Even Yi Fan was stunned. Li Hermione looked calm, as if she had expected it. Even Yang Xiadongshan was not spared. Zhang Yifei, from the ancient Zhang family, led the team. Among them were Zhang Keixuan and Zhang Yikan. Although the three were young, they were quite powerful. Yang Xiadongshan was beaten back step by step, and finally the head of the sect could only come out and apologize humbly. Zhang Haishan's son was a disciple of Yang Xiadongshan, but he died here without any protection. It was really the dereliction of duty of Yang Xiadongshan. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.